Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, those of you who dared to turn in to our live event. What you're about to witness here tonight is not for the faint of heart. What you are about to witness here is nothing short of madness and murder. I, as always, am Special Agent Joe Thulu, your game master and detective stand-in for the evening. I have with me a fine group of FBI agents who are going to do everything they can to stop the serial murderer known as the Gingerbread Man. What I'll need from you, the audience, is help. Unlike our previous games, this is an investigative game. We will need your help to sift through the clues and find the identity of the Gingerbread Man before he takes another life. Or, if you're leaning more towards the cannibalistic psychotherapist angle of things, we might need your help to punish these meddling FBI agents. Either way, stick around and help us either save or destroy some lives. As always, if you like what we do, follow us at Dark Hills Events. You can find us at our website, darkhillsevents.com. We are on Facebook at Dark Hills Events. We've got a bunch of exciting things coming out. Every month, you tell us what game you want us to build, and we will build it for you. But we'll get to more of that later. As of right now, I'd like to introduce you to your investigative team. Leading the team, a FBI agent, new to her field. I'd like you to welcome Jess. Jess, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm excited. I'm ready.
Is there any anything about your background you'd like people to know or be aware of?
Well, like you said, I'm new. I'm young. I'm new. Relatively inexperienced with this, but I'm optimistic and I'm excited and I'm just ready to go.
Thank you very much. Guys, let's show Jess some love. As she said, she's new to this, all right? By her side, walking the razor's edge of sanity himself, is our criminal profiler, Matt. And Matt, would you like to give people some of your own background?
Well, I've been with the Bureau 3 years now. I'm the lead investigator. Profiler. Thank you.
Clearly, it's already affected your damaged psyche. Maddie, you have some sort of true crime podcast, I believe?
Not exactly. What we do is we have a podcast on everything. We've had, I guess I can take those off now. We've had, various haunts over. We have, some filmmakers over. Next week, you guys will be joining us. In the description, I believe they put it, is the link to our Facebook group, TMG Entertainment. We do debates there as well. And you can find out all the shenanigans that we get into.
Thank you very much, Matt. Please, guys, go ahead and check out the link for TMG Entertainment. Now, helping our two agents with their investigation is renowned victimologist and associate professor Dr. Caitlin Stone. Dr. Stone, how are you doing this evening?
Very well. Thank you for having me. I just finished office hours, so ready to spend time with folks who know what they're doing.
And Dr. Stone, do you have anything in your background you'd like people to check out?
Well, I recently received tenure, so I have a huge weight off my back. And they certainly can't fire me now for making waves in the Department of Criminal Justice. And I'm going to be spending a lot more time working on the trauma, the study of trauma in criminal justice.
For those of you interested in actually reading a scholarly article, please go ahead and check out the link we just threw up. I believe that's your work, Dr. Stone?
Yes, it's about notifying victims in trauma-informed and victim-centered ways that prioritize their well-being in cold case sexual assaults. Recommendations for practitioners in the field.
That is a lot more intense than we usually get here at Dark Hills. Thank you very much.
And you may hear my dog, Zombie, come by. So I might be letting him in as we go along. So just ignore him.
That's no problem. There's a really good chance that the dog will get more likes and love than any of you guys. So, moving on, helping is renowned psychotherapist Dr. Lee Fletcher.
Hello there. I'm Dr. Ulysses Fletcher, but everyone calls me Lee. I'm a young psychotherapist helping out the Bureau with this investigation. And tonight I'm going to be played by Stephen Cook. I'm a film student at NYU, and I think Joey's going to plug my YouTube channel.
Absolutely. Why don't you go ahead and give the name for that?
Yeah, the YouTube channel is called Neon Hammer Productions. I do some short films on there, and I'm getting into video essays.
That's right, folks. We have film majors with us now. Things are about to get pretentious. I'm sorry. I should be a little more serious than that. And finally, last but not least, depending on what you think of reporters, helping them, maybe, with the investigation, one of the original reporters to break the case, and the reporter who coined the term, the name Gingerbread Man, is none other than Joshua. Joshua, is that the name you like to go by? Do you have some sort of writer handle?
Call me JSL. It's a lot easier, rolls off the tongue. I got 25 years working in journalism. Sure, a shit ton of tabloid, but this time I'm close enough that I'm going to make my mark.
Okay. And for those of you who either do or do not already know JSL, in an out-of-game fashion, he runs an absolutely amazing haunt experience known as the Black Heart Collective. We have gone ahead and thrown the link for that there. So check it out. And please, guys, let's give a little bit more love for our agents, because from here on out, things are going to unfortunately get rough. Let me give you the background. There have been 3 victims prior to this evening, and we just got word of a possible 4th found. Cause of death is always different. And the one connecting clue we found at every crime scene is brown sugar and salt, leading to the name the Gingerbread Man. Not usually the scariest of names for a killer, but I would not want to come across this visual in a dark alleyway. Speaking of which, you guys are approaching a dark alleyway, driven in a nondescript FBI vehicle, and you are about to see your first crime scene in this case. Does anybody have any questions, or would you guys like to hop right in and check out the scene?
I'm going to start weaseling my way over there.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're ready to go.
It is a dark alleyway, very dimly lit, although with all the police there, there's plenty of light at this point. It dead ends by a dumpster, and the alleyway is adjacent to a pub known as the Puttin' on the Fitz. Don't you just love bars with puns? The only exits in and out of this alleyway are the way you came in from the vehicle, and the door which leads into the kitchen of Putting on the Fits. There is a body, a young man, clearly in his 20s. Not only has he been gutted, but he has been mutilated. There are seemingly pieces missing. He has been identified by his fingerprints and student ID as none other than Marcus Lopez, a local student. So we've been having a tough time with this case, and guys, DC is on my ass. So whatever light you can shine would be very helpful at this moment. And for our audience, if you have any suggestions, any places you think our investigators should look, or any ideas about the killer's identity, please throw them right down in the comments. This is all interactive. Thank you to all 20 of you watching. All right, take it away, agents.
I immediately start snapping photos. Y'all can jitterbug. Let me shutterbug.
Okay.
I'm going to be talking with the staff who are still milling about, seeing how they're doing, and I want to ask them if this was a patron or if this is one of their colleagues, one of their coworkers, rather.
And I think I'm going to go with Caitlin, and I'm going to use people person with them.
Okay. Is anybody else heading into the pub?
Yeah.
All right, Jess. So that leaves. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna head in, but just look around using criminology and investigative procedures, and just look around, see what I can find.
All right. So you three head into the pub, leaving the reporter and the psychotherapist. Joshua, as you're snapping photos, you catch the image of a shoe print left in some blood. That'll be good to have for later. Dr. Fletcher.
Fucking cops, right, Doc?
No, I'm not a fan of the cops, but I'm also not a fan of the murders, and I think we have to work with them. That's what we have to do.
Sure, entertainment for some people, I guess.
Dr. Fletcher, is there anything else you wanted to check out?
I'd like to get a closer look at this body. You said there were pieces missing. I'm wondering which
That
parts.
is no problem. What ability would you like to use as you are searching? Perhaps inspiration?
Let's do inspiration.
You carefully comb the corpse, and you notice, just offhand, because you're not really a surgeon, it appears not only are the victim's hands missing entirely, as well as odd chunks of flesh from the arms, but it looks as if the lungs have been completely removed from this poor victim. One of our guest detectives is asking on the feed if the victims have anything in common. And just to fill you guys in with the information, because that's a really great question, CT Zeal. All the victims, besides the salt and brown sugar, were all young, fit, generally attractive males. Joshua, is there anything else you wanted to check out?
Whew. We still have officers on the scene as well, right? Anybody else I can chat up? I want to sidle up to some of the other officers here and see if they've heard anything else just in the neighborhood. Use a little cop talk on these guys. I know the type.
Absolutely. You sidle on up. You use your cop talk. These guys have had a long night. They're cold, looking at some dead bodies. So, unfortunately, This is bar area, downtown, lots of drunks wandering around, and that tends to be the majority of what they handle. However, there was a nondescript white van spotted earlier in the evening. Not too far from here.
It's good to know. Hey, Doc, remember that. Put it in your notebook.
I noted it. White van.
From Brad to Worse would like us to know that missing lungs really takes the air out of the room. And I wish I had a pair of sunglasses and The Who yelling a theme song behind me. Dr. Fletcher, is there anything else you wanted to look into?
I hate to beat a dead horse, but you mentioned chunks of flesh missing on the arms. Can you describe more the configuration of the chunks of flesh missing?
Absolutely. So, again, we'll use inspiration.
Inspiration.
The chunks are cleanly cut. They're not ragged or torn. And they aren't really in a pattern, but they are perfectly square. What someone might call a fillet of meat.
Mr. JSL,
No, go right ahead, Dr. Fletcher.
I would speculate that this is perhaps, I'm no surgeon or detective here, but perhaps a surgeon would have done this. It seems very precise with these injuries.
Anybody can drag a blade and can look finessed. Never look for the most obvious. Always, there's always something below it. There's something below. Let's peek into these wounds a little bit more. You too squeamish to get close, Doc?
I'll get close.
What would you like to give a go with, Joshua?
Any thoughts that I have from history of I would like to use history from having taken crime scene photographs before. I'm looking for commonality.
So while these cuts have been done with a sharp blade, they don't exactly look surgically precise. They look more like, hang on, not too far from the body, just underneath the dumpster, you think you glean something, something pale, just glinting off the light.
Well, look at this.
You sidle on over, bend down, probably whipping out some tiny flashlight you have as a reporter. And you can see it is an errant piece of flesh.
I'd love to just take this for myself, but I doubt I can do much with it. Better get some fuzz.
Absolutely. Taking some photos, you see that parts of the flesh are charred, as if they were burnt. And I, as an annoying, nerdy game master, am going to take a second here to just say that this game was built using the Gumshoe system, which is a wonderful system for investigative games. If you're a gamer and you want a game that's all about following the clues, you want to use Gumshoe, which is why you've noticed we've had Dr. Fletcher and Joshua using their skills without having to roll so far. In a Gumshoe game, the only abilities you have to roll for are general abilities. Their investigative abilities are almost always succeed. It will just glean different information. And I also want to give a lot of love to the people who apparently believe this is a CSI RPG. We are getting lots of hand puns and lung puns. Some of my favorites are, guess the killer needed more hands on deck. And guess the victims got too close, forgot to leave the killer a little breathing room. I really need a pair of sunglasses. I feel a little sad about that. Much love to all of you watching and pitching in with your puns. We're going to take a second now, and we are going to hop on over into Putting on the Fits, and we're going to see what our profiler, FBI agent, and victimologist are doing. It's Dr. Caitlin Stone, Maddie, and Jess. All right, so Jess, you said you were just looking around. You know, it's a late night. You're solving a murder. You need your potassium. You
The
need to
pub
keep your
happened
blood
to have
flowing.
bananas. What can I say? The pub just happened to have bananas. And I was like, well, I'm going to help myself. So
Absolutely. Now, Jess, you said you were using criminology to just sort of survey the room.
yeah. Just see if there's any clues inside.
Using your skills that you learned from the agency, taking a look around at everything. This is not an upstanding establishment. This is definitely a place for lowlifes, people who want cheap booze, possibly criminals, and of course, college students. Matt, Dr. Stone, what are you guys doing? Matt, you said you were using your people person skills?
Yeah, I want to just kind of talk to people, see if they maybe heard anything. Maybe there was a commotion in the kitchen.
All right. And what about you, Dr. Stone? What were you doing again?
There were some students who I recognized, and I'm trying to relate to them, also using my people person skills and reassurance. Some were a little rattled, the students, and I noticed that the other patrons were not at all. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on with this diverse crew here.
All right. So you are talking to these students. How do you present yourself, as you're not technically an FBI agent? You are, in fact, a professor. How do you present yourself as you talk to these people?
I'm a subject matter expert consulting, with the FBI.
Okay, they're duly impressed, even though you look like a college professor. So it turns out that the victim, Marcus Lopez, was well known around here. Not only was he a friendly face and a frequent drinker who was friends with most of the students, but Matt, you find out that he was also a part-time waiter here. It seems that he had an internship, but like most internships these days, he wasn't getting paid. So he would work here for the errant buck when he wasn't at school or his own internship.
Okay, then I'm going to use interrogation, and I'm going to pull the manager aside and just kind of ask some general questions about the victim.
Okay. Any specific general questions?
Well, like during the night, was there maybe an altercation, or did he see maybe he was a little off throughout the night?
Marcus, in fact, was not working this evening. He had not worked for the past 2 evenings, nor was he due in. Maybe he would have come in for a drink, but he was not supposed to be here. Which leads to the question then, why was he found in this alleyway?
Okay.
Yeah?
I'd like to use infiltration on the college students.
Despite the fact that you are at least 10 years older than the average college student and are not dressed like a college student at all, your clothes are way too out of date. They're drunk enough, and you are well adept at getting into the heads of people that they think you are a college student. As SM Clark 1993 says, how you do, fellow kids?
Basically.
Go ahead, Maddie.
All right. So let's jump back to impersonate a little bit as well. I'm going to add that to it as well. And
Okay.
I'm just going to ask some kind of general questions. If they had known the victim, maybe, had crossed paths with them throughout the night.
Not tonight. No, Maddie. Marcus was working today at his internship at the studio. and there weren't really any plans to go out. Maybe he would have hopped around, joined us later, but no one has seen him since the past 2 days when he was last seen in school.
While they're inside, can I go back outside? This is going to sound wild, but I want to use investigative procedures in the alleyway to see if the murder was actually committed there or if it looks like the body was moved there after the fact.
That does not sound wild at all. That sounds far too ingenious. All right, we're going to let you go back into the alleyway and we'll rejoin you soon. Dr. Stone, Matthew, is there any other questions, anything else you guys wanted to try to find out while you're in here?
I would note CT Zealot's comment that some people go to college later in life. So I think that Agent Matt is really successfully infiltrating. He's a non-traditional college student.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to use her story to continue that. I'm going to notice if there's any. I'm going to use notice and see if there's anything with the college student that are a little out of the ordinary.
No, they are your average college students who are drinking it up. All right. We're gonna. Is there anything else anyone wanted to do? Otherwise, we're going to rejoin our friends in the alleyway for a little bit.
I like that idea.
All right.
Do it.
Giving our pub team a little bit of breathing room. We return to our friends in the alleyway, Dr. Fletcher, our reporter JSL. And Jess, you come on out and you want to choose investigative procedure to see what you can tell about perhaps where the crime was committed?
Yeah.
So there is a large amount of blood all over the scene. It does seem as if Marcus was, at the very least, mutilated in the alleyway. It almost seems too neat, you know? There almost seems to be a little too much blood. The way it's spattered using your investigative abilities doesn't quite make sense. And the fact that there is a perfect shoe print in the blood that you yourself took a photo of, JSL, far too suspicious. Which leads you to believe that perhaps the Marcus was not killed here, but in fact placed here, and that the killer wanted it to look like Marcus was murdered here.
So what you're saying is I'm a genius.
Absolutely. Lisa has a very good point too. If he was not murdered there, how did he get there? If you guys have any theories on that.
Well, I heard of the white van. It's possible maybe that the body was moved here through the van and then deposited in the alley.
Very, very possible.
Joe, I don't think we've asked yet, what is this man wearing? If anything?
Yes. He is wearing a pair of khakis and a black button-up shirt. What skill would you like to use for this? See what kind of information you glean from his outfit.
I think I'm going to go with would inspiration do anything?
Absolutely. An idea comes into your head as if inspiration. This looks like a work outfit. This looks like something that you would be required to wear at a place where they also don't give you the clothes you need to wear.
I have two follow-up questions.
Go ahead.
Does he have a wallet on him?
He did have a wallet. That's where they found the student ID.
Student ID. Was there any information about the bar in the wallet?
There was a matchbook for putting on the fits. which makes sense because they also found a crushed box of cigarettes in one of his pockets.
I'm gonna be annoying. I might want to go back inside, depending on the answer to this question. Does the pub have cameras?
That is not an annoying question. And we are going to leave that up to fate. What ability are you using to try to see if there's any cameras around?
Electronic surveillance.
It does, in fact, look like there are some cameras around. So you said you wanted to head back into the pub then?
Yeah, because I want to look at those tapes.
Okay. Removing you again. JSL, Dr. Fletcher, is there anything you guys wanted to check out with the body, or do you think you might be right ahead? Go ahead, Dr. Fletcher.
I don't want to interrupt JSL if he has things, but you mentioned the footprint. I feel like it's an obvious question then. We've mentioned the clothes he's wearing, but what about his shoes? And do they match the footprint on my layman's eye?
From your layman's eye, no. He is wearing sneakers, and the footprint is a more, what's the word? Not a formal shoe, but I guess what would be described as maybe a loafer.
I'm going to use my just history of the area. I've been here a long time. I'm taking a peek at this uniform. We need to know more about Marcus. This poor stiff's just laying here dead. Where'd he work? Can we figure that out?
Knowing your history of the area, there's a lot of stuff around here. It doesn't seem like it's the outfit for putting on the fits. But perhaps there are definitely some like bakeries around here. There's a couple coffee shops, things of that nature, as well as there's the Happy Sappy Studios, a local studio where they film a bunch of kids stuff. They have gift shop, things of that nature. It looks like it could be at any of those places.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to hop back into the pub for the time being. Rejoin our friends and some food for thought presented to us by Lisa yet again. Perhaps Marcus was meeting someone here. That's nice little food for thought. So we are rejoining Jess and Dr. Stone and average older college associate Matthew. All right, so Jess, you came back in here because of the cameras. What did you want to see?
I want to go over, like, see the amount of time between, like, basically that whole day, to see if he was stopped in at all, to see if, like, there's anything suspicious.
So you go up, you flash your badge. Being an actual FBI agent helps. The bartender seems reluctant to give you access, though.
Jump in and support with investigative procedure and explain the imperative and immediate need to look at the camera footage. And because there is, this is a homicide, that would be allowable.
Good support of your fellow teammate. You talk circles around this bartender, who may or may not be hiding something, according to S.M. Clark, 1993. And they acquiesce. You're taken into a back room because it's 1989, if I didn't mention that earlier. And you look at the somewhat staticky footage. And you said you wanted to look at it for the day?
Yeah, like the entire 24 hours.
What ability would you like to use?
Electronic surveillance.
Good one. I just wanted to check. All right, so you've done this before. You've gone through God knows how many reels of tape. So you're going through it a little bit fast, but still keeping an eye on things. And after a couple rotations, you notice there is, in fact, a white van that keeps driving past. Now, there's no camera shining into the alleyway, but there are cameras outside. You can see the entrance to the alleyway. And this white, nondescript Sprinter van passes a number of times until not long after dark, it actually pulls into the alleyway for a period of about 30 to 45 minutes before it leaves again.
With a surveillance ability, I want to make sure I get a close look at the van to see if I can tell anything about the identity of the person driving the van.
And what ability were you using for that again?
I added surveillance to my general abilities.
Okay. Go ahead. Since Caitlin is using a general ability, she will actually have to roll for this. So go ahead, Caitlin, let us know what you get.
2.
Unfortunately, you are not able to tell anything about the driver from the vehicle. As a matter of fact, that driver sure did not have a license to kill. Guys, I'm absolutely loving this CBS primetime look at the Silence of the Lambs world. Unfortunately, you were not able to tell anything about the driver. And as a matter of fact, the route that the driver took leads you to wonder if they did not have the cameras in mind as they were making their delivery.
Mm-hmm. And what about the license plate? Is there anything you can tell about the license plate, even the state?
As our good friend Acid Mouthed already pointed out, it is not clear enough for you to make out the license plate number or the state.
Very astute.
After that, Acid Mouthed.
Thank you, Acid Mouthed. Yeah.
Is there anything else you guys wanted to do inside the bar? All right. Oh.
I have a clarifying question. I can't recall whether you had stated that anybody had seen him in the bar when you were speaking with the manager earlier, Matt. They did not see him in the bar?
No, they did not see him in the bar.
I do want to take a minute and use criminology on the kids on the students I'm standing with, just to kind of see if, maybe somebody was there dealing drugs or something that they don't want to speak up about because of the FBI moving around.
Using your criminology skills, yeah, it seems like there might have been something going on, but whether it's just a bunch of kids buying some drugs, or perhaps it's a fake ID for an underage fellow student, you are unsure.
Okay. So I want to continue with people person with them, and I just want to find out if there had been, in the days that they had seen him, if there was any kind of altercations.
As Brad Torres says, Brad, don't be a narc. But no, it does not seem like anyone had any issues with Marcus. So Jack Crawford has come in. They're getting ready to bag up the body, take it back to Quantico. Guys have been here a while. It might be good to take it back to headquarters, and there perhaps you guys can get a bit more information about the previous crimes and see where that leads you. Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna get you guys all back in the vehicle. We are gonna take just a quick moment to revisit our friends in the alleyway. Is there any final things you guys wanted to check out before they take the body back to cold storage, so to speak?
Not at this point. I'm done being around stiffs.
I'm ready to head out.
Okay. All right. We take a very quick transition over to headquarters at Quantico. So, you guys have had a chance to see the latest crime scene. What I want to know is what you'd like to know now. And, audience out there, what do you want to know? And just for me personally, audience, who's your favorite investigator so far? Are you a fan of JSL, the reporter? Dr. Lee Fletcher, the kind of twitchy psychotherapist? Dr. Caitlin Stone, who is very adept for being an adjunct professor? Criminal profiler Maddie G? Or FBI agent Jess? Let us know who you love best. It may just save their lives later on. But as I said, what is it that you guys, audience or players, would like to know?
I'd like to look at the bodies and use criminology just to kind of look over them and see if there were any kind of matching wounds.
Absolutely. This immediately goes to a question that just came up. CT Zealot wants to know, were any of the other ones also missing parts, and if so, which ones? So, Maddie, they're going to go ahead and they're going to pull the drawers out for the past victims. Would anyone else like to take a look at the victims? Would anyone particularly not like to look at the victims?
Oh, okay. I'd like to. I was getting close.
You are all very daring. Fun fact, our game does involve sanity. As you are investigating these crimes, if you're a fan of the Hannibal TV show, you might notice a few of the players get a little shaken. So what I'd like all the players to do right now is roll their D6, general roll, no additions, and please let me know what you get, because you guys might be facing some sanity issues.
6.
4.
1.
2.
Yes?
Sorry, I'm getting there. 5.
So, perhaps Dr. Fletcher and JSL, perhaps it was because you guys spent so much time digging into the open wounds of victim Marcus Lopez, but you definitely need a cigarette. You too, Fletcher, even though you don't smoke, you definitely feel like you need a cigarette. This is rough. And now you're going into cold storage and you're looking at the other victims. So to give you a rundown, the previous victims found in this order, always 12 days apart. So far, no reason has been given for that, but they've always been found 12 days apart. First victim was 23-year-old male model Quentin Zane. His lungs were punctured. It looks like most likely by a knife, and he did, in fact, drown in his own blood. He was found in an alleyway as well, behind a series of studio apartments. The second victim was another male, 33 years old, unemployed. Went by the name of Thomas Brooks. He was found in Grand Park underneath a tree. He had, in fact, been strangled with some sort of wire. And in fact, the wire cut into the flesh around his neck. Thomas Brooks was divorced. And finally, 25-year-old photographer Eric Hunter was also found in an alleyway. In fact, he was found in the exact same alleyway as the first victim, behind the studio apartments. Hunter was married. His residence is located in the suburbs. And as Lisa points out, why are they all young men? Any connection between these men? And she's thinking male escorts. The final victim was the worst so far. They died from blood loss as their legs were amputated. And it does look like they were alive when their legs were amputated. As for the missing pieces, do the victims go to the same school, same gym, since all are fit? These are all great questions from our audience. Thank you to our guest detectives. It's a lot of fun. This is like watching a Sherlock Holmes episode with a bunch of people. But going back to the things missing, so Quentin Zane, the male model, in fact, had his entire face removed. He had to be initially identified using dental records. Thomas Brooks, the unemployed 33-year-old male, his tongue was missing. And then Eric Hunter, the photographer, his eyes had been cut out of their sockets. So on each of the 4 victims, we have not only death done in a different fashion each way, but also body parts that were taken after they died, post-mortem. And as Operator Zero would like us to know, in the case of Eric Hunter, he didn't see it coming.
Guess you could say that again.
His eyes were removed.
Joey.
Yeah.
Real quick, which one had their face removed?
That was Quentin Zane, the male model. We aren't sure why the face was removed. S.M. Clark, 1993, is wondering if there is not a skin suit in the making somewhere.
Can I make an observation without using any ability?
I'd be really mean if I didn't let you do that, but please go ahead.
Well, I was just thinking the model had his face removed and the photographer had his eyes removed. Those are both kind of related to their professions. Just throwing that out there.
No, that is very astute of you. I mean, and you are an FBI agent, so criminology and things of that nature would help you to build a profile for this killer.
Ooh. While we're profiling here, I think my psychology ability may help with this, but I'm no criminal psychologist, but there's an obvious Freudian implication to the murder. We might suspect that this is a male. What is the ethnicity of the victims so far?
So the first 3 victims were all Caucasian. However, Marcus Lopez was Hispanic.
Okay.
I'm going to guess we're dealing with a white male here, but Maddie, as the profiler, you might be able to look more into that.
Yeah, I was thinking that myself. I'd like to, I know it's a general one, but I'd like to use notice just to see if there's something with the victims, maybe that
On any specific body?
Yeah, you know what? Let's go with the first victim, the model, with his face removed.
So, looking over the body, you take notice. It looks like there's some sort of dust underneath the fingernails of Quentin Zane.
Then I'd like to also use trivia to see if I can't maybe just get an idea of what maybe the dust might be.
It looks like it might be concrete. Now, we have a number of good points being brought up. Lisa has stated that the killer seems to have taken away their best features. CT Zealot wants to know, was the guy without eyes the same one whose legs were removed? Yes, he was. And were the legs still at the crime scene? No, they were not. Neither were the eyes or the face. Not only were these bodies mutilated, but these parts were taken.
I'd also like to use criminology and see if the pieces of flesh that were found at the crime scene match the most recent victim.
So the piece of flesh discovered by reporter JSL did in fact belong to Marcus Lopez. So it looks like the flesh was removed. For some reason, it is charred. And as to why it was found under the dumpster, it was simply dropped or overlooked by the killer.
I'd like to head over towards any case files that are in the area. We can look at stiffs all day, but what we know about them is going to help us find exactly what's going on here. I'm looking for commonalities in the case files between the.
And I'm going to go with him. I'm going to go with him.
Yeah, I'll use research, library
and
studies.
I'm going to use cryptography as well, just to kind of see if maybe we can't put pieces of this puzzle together.
Well, I'm going to get rid of everybody but you two for just a second here. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of investigative intimacy, so to speak. So using your research, trying to go through, see if there's anything that connects these victims aside from their general ages and so forth. You are unsure, but JSL, you are able to find out that Marcus's internship was at a local studio, colloquially known as the Happy Sappy Studio, home of a local children's television show called the Happy Sappy Hour, run by the host, who in show is known as Mr. Sweet, and out of the show is known as Johnny Chan. You are not entirely sure of any firm connections at the moment, but a TV studio might have use for a photographer like Eric Hunter or a young model like Quentin Zane. At the moment, you have no idea as to how Thomas Brooks fits in with those connections.
Plus, our most recent victim also was a intern there.
Correct. Yes.
I'd like to use low life. Everybody's got a secret. I got to know something about Happy Sappy Studios.
Oh, yeah. You want to talk about low life? There is no life lower than Mr. Sweet himself, Johnny Chan. So in 1989, Johnny Chan is to Happy Sappy Studios what Ellen DeGeneres is to the Ellen Show. All right. There are lots of rumors flying around about his abusive and drug-fueled tendencies. And I gotta hand it to a lot of our viewers here. They are making some really, really good points. For instance, CT Zealot again wants us to know that cement is kind of an odd thing to be under the fingernails of a male model. Whereas Acid Mouthed wants to know, were other victims killed at their crime scenes or dumped there as well? All great questions. And again, I want to throw out Lisa straight up wants you guys to look through the pictures that the photographer took. So I gotta hand it to our audience. You guys are really digging in. I like this. I like it a lot.
So I think what I'd like to do as well is soon, once we are done with the bodies, I'd like to use impersonate as well as roll with infiltration and see if I can't get involved at the studio just to kind of get closer to Johnny.
Okay. Well, first, just a quick note that I want to make out of game as a game master is that as our agents find clues and further delve into this mystery, we are assuming that information is being shared with the other agents. So if we have a scene like that with JSL and Maddie, and then Dr. Fletcher and Stone and Jess come back in and they know the same information, we're all just assuming that they shared it with each other.
Mhm.
So just making sure our audience doesn't start yelling at us for inconsistency. I apologize. So, Maddie, you are interested in checking out Happy Sappy Studios.
And I'd like to go with Special Agent Maddie on this. No
I would like to
offense,
join them
bud.
as well.
You were a square in the bar.
And Dr. Stone, do you want to join them on their excursion to the studios?
I'd like to do one more thing before we leave, but I would go with them. And that would be with my criminology ability to find out and whether the way in which the victims were, like the weapons used against the victims, have anything to do, have any correlation with that specific body part that was removed. We have the lungs. They're all different types of violence used against the victims. So I'm just curious if there's any more to that to explore while we're here at the morgue.
So, unfortunately, it's hard to tell. One might initially say that it seems like these murders were done with whatever was at hand. However, by the time you get to the third victim with the eyes removed and the legs expertly amputated, clearly there was a lot more premeditation that went in.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, you are not able to get more than that. Before we get too far in, one of our guest detectives does want us to ponder what was Brooks' last job before being unemployed.
Mhm.
And you know what? I wish I had these people when I was at an escape room. I really do. I'd feel less like I was floundering around. You are all absolutely amazing this evening. Okay, so are we heading over to Happy Sappy Studios? Well,
Listen, yeah, here, gang. I'm gonna say it straight. Mr. Sweet ain't so fucking sweet. We can walk in there, guess, or you can raise a shit ton of dander. Trust me on this one. Follow my lead, especially you, fuzz boy.
I like the rousing speech. So as the sun rises and it gets closer to 10 a.m., you guys prepare to head over to Happy Sappy Studios. However, Jack Crawford comes in. He has some news. The hospital for the criminally insane, the Baltimore Hospital for the Criminally Insane, has reached out to Crawford's department. It seems that one of their patients has been receiving some fan mail. He tends to receive a lot of fan mail. Some people want to save him. Some people kind of want to date him. Either way, they believe that the killer known as the Gingerbread Man has in fact been corresponding with one of the inmates. So while the five of you are free to head straight over to Happy Sappy Studios, it might be worth checking out the hospital and having a discussion with this inmate. Jess, you're muted.
I'll go. Yeah, I'll go to the hospital.
Would anyone else like to go to the hospital?
I'll join Jess.
You seem almost too eager, Dr. Fletcher. Would anyone else like to go to the hospital, or would the rest of you like to continue to Happy Sappy Studios?
Split the party.
I'll go to the hospital as well, please.
And then I think I'll go with JSL and we'll go over to Happy Valley.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So I am going to drop out our favorite doctors as well as our favorite FBI agent, and we're going to head right on over to Happy Sappy Studios.
Can we stop and grab just a few coffees in the carrier before we go?
Are all the coffees for you?
No, they're not for me at all.
Oh, I like the way you think. I really do. Cheers.
Yeah, and I think I'm gonna use impersonate with those coffees.
Okay. All right. So you guys head on over to Happy Sappy Studios. Very small. This isn't Hollywood. This is like your local PBS station. However, it is local knowledge, as you know, JSL, that Johnny Chan is a bloody celebrity. You know, the kids love him, the parents love him, and if it were not for those under the radar rumors about his work ethic and his out of work proclivities, well, you get what I'm saying. And luckily, it's 1989, so there aren't too many Reddit threads for people to post the truth on. So you guys arrive at Happy Sappy Studios, walking into the lobby. Maddie, you said you want to impersonate an employee there?
Yeah, as well as use infiltration. I know I have to roll for it.
Let me check that. Are those general abilities?
Yeah, it's a general.
Okay, yes. If you'll do me a favor and go ahead and give me a roll then.
Alrighty. And it's a 4, but I have +2 attached to it as well.
All right. So you guys are walking right in. You go into the lobby. I'm assuming then that you guys perhaps took the time to put on khakis and a black button-up.
Oh, yes.
Right. Ed stopped and picked up a little cocaine on our way.
Heads down, you guys successfully infiltrate, for lack of a better word, Happy Sappy Studios. Where are you trying to go in the studios? What are you looking for?
I think first we should go straight over to craft services and put these down. Just kind of hang out.
Okay. All right. You guys head to cafeteria, small, not so much craft services as it looks like a little coffee shop inside the studio. What are you guys looking for? Or perhaps at the very least, tell me what abilities you're using now that you have successfully infiltrated and are in the cafeteria.
I'm going to start sweet talking to find out, using flattery and flirting on the closest table of interns I can find. Where's Johnny Chang been at lately? Is he in the studio today?
He is late, as per usual. He was probably up late, as his reputation is known for, amongst other things. If we're lucky, he's already in his dressing room. If we're not lucky, it's still 2 hours before he even shows.
Well,
in that case, I'm going to quietly slip out the door and walk towards Johnny's dressing room.
Oh, man.
Okay, I'd like to know what ability you're using because...
I'm going to use impersonate as well, again, but I'm also going to add people person to it just to kind of blend in a little bit and kind of as maybe not quite the bottom of the barrel, but maybe a producer, somebody who's needs to make sure that Johnny's on time and the schedule's running.
Okay, all right. So since you were smart enough to say people person, I'm going to say you were lucky enough to not get lost in the studio, which is always good. And as always, when you go off alone, you play alone. So, Maddie, you make your way. Oh, that's a very good point. I'll just leave that up there for a second. You make your way through the halls, head down, trying not to get noticed, trying to listen, and you are able to find your way to the dressing room of Johnny Chan, better known as Mr. Sweet himself. Now that you're here, what are you looking to do?
Well, I've got to very carefully kind of listen to see if there's anything inside. You know, if I can hear people inside.
You definitely hear noises.
Okay, then I'm going to gently, again, continuing to use impersonate people person, knock on the door to see if anybody answers.
Okay, you gently knock on the door. and you immediately hear a number of curses that you have never heard before in your life. Clearly, this person is perhaps related to a sailor. The door swings open, and standing before you is the young, fit, very good-looking, yet clearly angry Johnny Chan. He is half-dressed, wearing perhaps the clothes he was wearing the day before, as they are all rumpled. His shirt is mostly unbuttoned. He's clearly not pleased to see you, and he wants to know what the F you want.
Well, and then I'm going to pull out that magic substance I picked up on our way, because I picked that up from the kids last night when I infiltrated as a college student. And I'm going to ask him if he needs a little bit of a wake up to help him get in the mindset. And I'm going to use infiltration, which I know I have to roll.
Go right ahead.
And it's a 3 + 2. So 5.
So he is happy to take your nose candy, but who the hell are you? He's never seen you before.
And I'm going to impersonate. I'm just kind of... I'm here with a reporter trying to figure out the man behind the character is. We're here doing an interview, trying to put a piece together for the local moms who go, "Oh my God, my kid loves you." I was wondering if maybe we could have a conversation.
And he slams the door in your face. Gonna hop back over to JSL. You were left in the cafeteria. What have you been up to?
I'm still hitting on birds in here trying to get some information. I want to know, I've been hearing a lot about studio snipers lately, casting for younger men, just peeking around. You guys heard anything about that?
Well, they're always casting for the candy kids, young guys, young girls. They put them in these tight, multicolored outfits. They stand in the background and they carry the pastries, the stuff that Johnny serves to the kids who are in the studio for the day. Most of them don't last long. Turnover is it's like working at McDonald's, really.
You seen a Brooks come through here lately?
None of these interns have ever heard of a Brooks.
How about Marcus Gonzalez? What's his last name? Shoot.
Lopez.
How about Marcus Lopez? Yeah. Have you guys heard of Marcus Lopez?
Yeah, no. Rings a bell. He hasn't been seen for, I guess, 3 days now. The interns just assumed that Johnny fired him. It's sort of the goal here is to not get noticed by Johnny, because once you're noticed, your days are numbered.
I mean, I don't want to spill tea, but Johnny likes certain things. Did Marcus ever get close with him?
No, it doesn't seem that. As far as the people knew, and believe me, the people tend to know when there's gossip, it does not seem like Marcus and Johnny had any sort of relationship.
All right. I feel like I need to find my friend. Interns, am I right?
Absolutely. And while you head around, we are going to take a brief moment to pay a visit to the Baltimore Hospital for the criminally insane. Agent Dominic, clearly you stopped to get lunch. There's nothing wrong with that. We all need to say energized.
Take your time.
So, you guys are taken. To the Baltimore Hospital for the Criminally Insane, where you meet the insufferable Dr. Chilton. He invites you in, and he gives you the rundown. Distance to keep, things not to say. Most interviews don't last long. And most importantly, interviews are always one-on-one. Crawford, of course, has filled you in. So Dr. Lecter gets a lot of mail. We try to monitor as much of it as we can. We are at the moment not sure how long he has been in correspondence with the killer you know to be the gingerbread man. Going through some old mail, we have found a few things that now lead us to believe he has, in fact, been talking with this murderer. So, do either of you have any questions? And who would like to go in?
Well, it seems like we're going to split up here. Maybe one of us could talk with Dr. Chilton some more. Somebody else could look at the mail, and then one of us could meet with Lecter, and then we meet back up and discuss our findings.
So, who would like to speak with Lecter?
Well, as a fellow psychotherapist, I also have high society skills. I think I might be able to relate to him, but I'm clearly also not an FBI agent, and there may be certain perks to that job, or professor in victimology, which might help.
I'm more than willing to do it. But Dr. Stone, what was your expertise in again?
Firstly, fashion, although I don't talk about it very much. Criminology, political science, and bureaucracy, as well as social science. So qualitative interviewing is one of my skills.
Okay.
I would say Dr. Fletcher would be, I just have a feeling that with my reassurance and morale skills that he would relate to you most.
Chilton said the interviews would be short, so if it doesn't work, we can try someone else.
So while you guys have been having the discussion, some of your higher ups in the agency have been talking about who should initially approach Lecter about this, and it seems at the moment that it's got to be Jess. Yeah. Not sure why, but it does in fact look like they would like the FBI to make the initial approach with Lecter on this case. Are you comfortable with that, Jess?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So Dr. Stone, if you please, Dr. Fletcher, if you please, and Jess, I wish you all the best in your.
Oh.
Good day.
Hi.
You're one of Jack Crawford's, I see.
Yes. Yeah.
May I see your credentials?
Sure, here.
Closer, please. Closer. You're new to the FBI. That's quite slippery of you. To what do I owe this visit?
Just, here to ask you a few questions about someone you may be talking to.
And why, pray tell, are you led to believe I would be willing to help you?
I guess I'm just hoping. Maybe there's something I can do for you if you help me.
Oh, a quid pro quo. And what would I be able to get in return then?
Depends how much you give me.
Quite daring, I see. Tell me about your little case.
Well,
do you have a case file?
Yeah, I do.
Place it in the box, please.
Here you go.
Oh, quite interesting, I see. Quite a tricky dicky we have on our hands.
We have reason to believe he's been in contact with you.
Tell me, Agent, what have you been derived from the evidence so far? Entertain me with your acumen.
We think that he is taking pieces from different bodies that are the best pieces to put them all together.
Is that all you've gleaned from this case?
No.
Oh, Agent Dominic, you bore me with your feeble attempts. Do you know what I see when I look at you? I see a fragile shell of a woman struggling to operate in a male-dominated world. Your lust for knowledge and thrills are at odds with your meek existence. You grow wide-eyed at the chance to dissect me, but fall haplessly and stutter in my mere presence. Your sheltered upbringing gave you ample opportunity to study and explore your vast volleys of interest, but robbed you of any semblance of confidence and social skills. Daddy's little princess put on a throne too weak and insecure to sit upon. Run along now, little highness. You'll get no help from me.
That did not go well, Jess. That did not go well. But you gave it your best shot. I think perhaps we should let someone else have a try at Lecter.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Jess. Dr. Stone, you understand the rules?
Don't get too close. Don't talk about certain things you mentioned. What are those?
You know, with Lecter, we can never be quite sure.
Hello, Dr. Lecter.
Good day.
My name is Dr. Caitlin Stone, and I would like to have a few minutes of your time. How does that sound?
Sit, please.
Thank you.
The floor is yours, Doctor.
Oh, thank you. Just in case, I wanted to, respect your space. I realize that I'm in your domicile, if you will. And I really wanted to find out what you think about the correspondence that you've received from the killer that they call the Gingerbread Man. What do you think about what he's doing? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's quite the naughty boy, oh yes. He was quite brazen in his attempt to taunt me, believing himself transcendent of me. He mentioned a verse from a fallacious author, Candace Ren Postnatus. I do recommend giving it a read. It may be quite eye-opening if you paid attention to our previous forays well enough. I'm sure Agent Crawford can accommodate you.
Postneros is the author?
Yes. Have you not heard of her? Quite the fallacious author.
I did not realize that he believes that he has transcended you.
Oh yes, quite brazen he is.
Normally, I think that they are looking up to you when they write to you. Do you think that's a part of this as well?
Let's get to the sticky dicky of it all. I've given you something so far. What are you going to give me?
What is it that you want to know?
Tell me about yourself, Doctor. What makes you tick?
Really doing the right thing, care and compassion for other people, and improving the world, essentially.
Sounds like a Miss America pageant answer to me.
Dr. Stone, Dr. Chilton comes in. He doesn't like where this conversation is headed at the moment. But at least you did better than the last one.
Thank you.
And you know what? Since we gave the first two a go, we might as well allow Dr. Fletcher. Were you still interested in speaking with Dr. Lecter?
Oh, yes.
All right. And again, you understand the rules?
I think so, as vague as they are.
All right, then. Best of luck.
Dr. Lecter,
Good day.
I'm Lee Fletcher. We share a similar field of psychotherapy.
Do we now? And
I must say,
patients.
I'm a fan of your work, if not your diet.
You won't persuade me with appeals to my intellectual vanity.
Well, it doesn't have to be vanity if it's actually there, Dr. Lecter.
I'll appreciate the courtesy at least.
I'm here to talk to you about a string of recent murders. The press is calling him the Gingerbread Man.
Yes, quite a gingerly fellow.
Yes, we've heard reports that you're corresponding with this man.
Yes, I did receive correspondence to him. I believe I just spoke to your previous agent about that. Why waste my time making me repeat myself?
Well, it's specifically fan mail, I believe.
Have
Clearly,
you
he's not a
looked further
cop.
into this case? What have you derived from it so far? Tell me, fascinate me with your acumen.
Well, I may not be a profiler, but as a psychotherapist, I have certain ideas that I'm drawing from it. I'm suspecting white male based on this victim so far.
All of the victims are male. Why do you think that is?
I'm thinking it's some sort of psychosexual thing, driving power from them, perhaps his own repression.
Perhaps he's a misanthropist, or a scorned sapphist, or perhaps just a rebellious child seeking retribution from a harsh, cruel world.
Absolutely possible. I think that lines up totally with motives so far.
This
This still leaves a lot of room.
seems quite a fastidious fellow, does he not?
A bit. There's definitely precision so far in the injuries inflicted.
Our mutual friend is quite daring devil, is he not? How he so brazenly hides his names behind childish references and anagrams, daring you to look no further than the marker in front to figure it out. Quite the tricky dicky, no?
Anagrams. You mentioned anagrams. I'm not sure if I totally follow you
Your
on this.
attention to detail is quite alarming. I suggest you revisit your clues as the answer is right in front of you.
I thank you for your time, Dr. Lecter.
Good day.
How do you feel that went, Dr. Fletcher?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure where these anagrams he's speaking about could be. But I'll have to consult with the rest of the team.
Is there anything else you guys wanted to attempt to do or ask about while you're at the hospital?
Would we be able to talk to the doctor that's like in charge of him, possibly?
Dr. Chilton? Absolutely. And what are you looking to ask about?
Can I use bureaucracy work?
Absolutely, yeah.
I just want to know if he's noticed anything about like the letters, like the amount of them, the time they come in, because I assume he has to have some type of involvement in that. Like they can't just go directly to him.
Of course, all of Dr. Lecter's letters are read. Some of the worser ones are set aside for papers and the like. They are not sure how long Dr. Lecter has been corresponding with the Gingerbread Man. Only the most recent letter, in fact, was signed the Gingerbread Man. In fact, it was signed, "You can't catch me, I'm the Gingerbread Man."
What were the other ones signed as? Or were they not signed?
No signature at all. So, Dr. Stone, Dr. Fletcher, any questions?
I'd like to speak with the doctor about this author that Dr. Lecter spoke of. Candace Wren post nodos.
And what are you interested in learning from Dr. Chilton exactly?
The content or passage or meaning of the writing. He said I could give it a read, and he talked about it being an anagram. So I just wondered if he had any additional information about this writing or the author.
Unfortunately, Dr. Chilton does not have that information. It seems like that would be something for you to investigate. A simple reference to an author in a letter isn't really worth his time.
Well, if we may take a second to look into it right now, I have abilities in both language and textual analysis. Could we seek to decipher this now? Is there anything I'm gleaning from it?
Yeah, taking a look at so with your understanding of language, it's definitely not another language. But doing a textual analysis, while a couple of different anagrams come up, the one that stands out to you most is you believe Candace Wren Postnotos might in fact be an anagram for the phrase consorts and deception.
Consorts
and deceptions. As to what that means, who knows?
Does the ability of social science give us any insight into consorts and deceptions? I realize you said what that means, who knows? However, perhaps with social science, we would learn a little bit more about this phrase.
Well, as Acid Mouth points out, consorts could in fact be male escorts. So we can keep that in mind. At the time being that we're going to return to our good friends at Happy Sappy Studios. So we bring back our dear JSL, or as our audience is calling you, that hot reporter.
I agree.
Have you been able to find Maddie G again?
I think so. I got to the door.
Oof.
So I'm going to burst in.
You are just going to break it on in, huh?
Johnny, baby, it's me, JSL.
Okay, I got to know, are you using any sort of abilities here, or are you just going in?
I'm going in flattery and flirting. I am going to pour it on very heavily.
Okay, he is wired, and by this point, he's at least partially in costume. His costume, by the way, the best way to describe it is it looks like a mortician's suit covered in different candies.
Oh, you're looking sharp. It's almost game time, bud. You met my intern.
What
How are you doing?
what are you here for, man?
It's the interview today. The interview. We've had this plan for months.
He looks annoyed, but he's, you know what? You got 10 minutes. You got 10 minutes. You know, got stuff to do.
God, let's just do a little off the record first. Man, it's been a rough couple of weeks, huh? A lot of people coming in and out of here, man. I've been hearing about it in the industry. Didn't want to report on it until I talked to you, of course.
What are you talking about? What kind of stuff?
I don't know. It just seems like there's maybe some disgruntled young men leaving here. What, you got anything on that?
Disgruntled young men. You know what? That's crap. That's absolutely crap.
Hey, I'm going to pull in real close and use low life. Hey, man, I'm not here to judge you. We do what we do. We keep it out of the press. I think I'm one of those guys who can do that for you. I just need to hear a little bit more just to make sure you and I are good. Bargaining.
He immediately begins talking about Josh. He doesn't give a last name. He just keeps referring to this guy as Josh. You know, Josh is just a troublemaker. Josh just has a problem with the star, and the star is Johnny. It's not the writers. You don't need writers on an effing kid show. It's not the freaking bakers or all those people bringing in the candies. It's not even the kids. It's Mr. Sweet. That's who the star is. And you know what? Josh is just pissed. That's why he hasn't been back. That's why he just left, you know?
He's on my list of people to interview next, too. Josh, gosh, what's his last name? It's escaping me in the moment.
Corrigan.
Yeah. I'm going to use this as honesty on his last statement.
Like you don't know who the producer is.
It gets. Yeah, gosh, I'm supposed to meet with him later this afternoon. It's supposed to be off the record too, but you know what is off the record anymore?
And Johnny seems intrigued. You've actually spoken with Josh recently?
Oh, we had drinks the other night.
That Flake, you know what? He's been gone for a while now. He's and you know what? Good riddance. Don't need him. All you need is the goods. Now, Johnny has to go. He's got stuff to do. He's got kids to make happy, moms to make happy. You know what I mean?
By all means, my friend, do what you do. But I think we should talk later on.
So you gleaned some information, and we're going to go ahead. We're going to bring in the rest of our investigators. Since we know that you guys were just going to head to the studio anyway. And again, you have all shared the information that we've all respectively seen.
It choked.
Not yet. Okay, so I guess the real question is, you've interviewed Dr. Lecter, you've had a very brief interview with Johnny Chan, you guys are currently on Happy Sappy Studios. Where would you like this investigation to go from here?
I think Josh should take his research ability, I believe it's research you have, and look up the author they gave him.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Fletcher doesn't believe that author exists. Dr. Fletcher, in fact, believes that the author given by Lecter is, in fact, an anagram for the phrase consorts and deception.
Hookers and lies. Sounds like a pretty familiar story.
So, where would you guys like to take the investigation from here?
I think that the clients of the studio, the mothers that frequent it, might be able to tell us more about the young men who work there. It sounds like they ordered double anchovy pizza, if you know what I mean.
Can I ask something real quick?
Absolutely.
The interns at this place, the studios, are they all male?
No, there are some female.
Okay.
It seems you guys are interested in perhaps finding out more about the employees of Happy Sappy Studios.
Mm-hmm.
What might be a good way to go about getting some of that information?
I'm hot on this Josh Corrigan thing. Why is he leaving the studio? Too many of these people are connected to there. Sure, Chang's a dick, but he's probably not a murderer. Something's happening.
That'd be a good place to follow. And audience, please, if you have any suggestions for what our FBI agents should pursue, shout them out, folks. You guys have been a big help so far.
Do you think maybe what we should do is, I'm going to use people person and interrogation, and I'm going to go talk to the mothers. I'm going to go just see if they've seen anything during filming.
Who did you say you were talking to again?
The mothers of the audience that are the kids of the mother.
Okay, all right. So we'll say, because she mentioned it, we will say that you and Dr. Stone have an interest in talking to the families. Average studio audience. Lots of moms, but there are some dads. And the way it works is every day a new batch of kids is brought in. Basically, the parents line up with their children, and it's first come, first serve. Some of the parents are returning. They see this as a way to maybe get their children into the business and make some more money. What are you guys interested in learning?
I'd like to learn if they've heard anything between our star and maybe people, the interns, like if they've seen something, maybe him go off on somebody, maybe they know Josh.
So quite frankly, whatever behind the scenes trouble there is, it seems like Mr. Chan does a good job of keeping it out of the view of the children and the parents. The parents have nothing but good stuff to say. He plays with their children. They get ample screen time. And at the end of every episode, they bring out the pastries, and the kids love the pastries. Love them.
I may have missed, but where are those pastries coming from? Who are they being supplied by or baked by?
The moms don't know, but you could ask with like the secretary or maybe studio head. They could probably give you all that information. However, if you want to grab one, there's a nice batch of like cookies and whatnot sweets in a basket off to the side. So if you want to grab one, go right ahead. They are delicious.
Okay, let me go check that out. I'm allergic to almonds, so anything that doesn't have almonds, perhaps something. I mean, I am curious if there's any gingerbread cookies in there.
There's also these sort of like sticky brownies covered in like brown sugar and what may be molasses.
Okay, so I'm going to use intuition and just kind of scan the room and see if something's out of place.
Something's what?
Out of place. Like something doesn't look right.
Quite honestly, no. Everything is looking pretty good for a kid show. I feel like you guys have gleaned quite a bit of information. Though you've had a nice discussion. It seems at the very least that our audience is interested in having you guys pursue the whereabouts of producer Josh Corrigan.
Yeah.
Okay. Your investigation, guys, you take it wherever you want to take it.
We got any deets on where Corrigan lives? Any last knowns? You guys gonna run some anything through your department?
Who'd like to give a go with what ability? There are gosh knows how many that could be used at this moment.
How about criminology? Let's see if we can't pull up a dossier on him.
Why not? So Mr. Corrigan does not seem to have any priors or anything of that nature. Just getting basic information from the studio. Josh Corrigan was a producer. He was not officially fired, but him and Mr. Chan have been seen having a number of rows, I believe is the word. So they've definitely been fighting a lot. And a couple days ago, Corrigan left, has not returned.
Well, did it have a last known address for him in that?
Yeah, absolutely. And Dr. Stone, because you asked earlier, while you were getting the information about, so basically you guys were given a list of current employees and employees of the past couple months. You are able to find out that the pastries for the Happy Sappy Studio Hour are provided by a local bakery called Patty's Pastries.
Patty's Pastries.
I'd like to go over there
Okay.
and speak to the business owner.
Okay. So, we have some people interested in going to Patty's Pastries, and a couple of you, I guess, are interested in checking out the last known whereabouts of producer Josh Corrigan. Is there anything else you guys wanted to pursue?
Is there anything else using computer use in the employee files that we should know about? Anyone being hired, reprimanded, or received a complaint about?
What skill are you using as you're going through these files?
Well, I think they're in the computer. I mean, it takes quite a while for it to load, for the information to load because of the technology that they use, but I'm using computer use.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. It is 1989, so there's at least some computers. So going through, one thing that does jump out at you is one of the names of one of the warehouse workers, Thomas Brooks, which at the very least now connects possibly all of the murder victims to Happy Sappy Studios. I know we're talking about a terrible series of murders, but Happy Sappy Studios is just far too fun.
And how long ago did Thomas Brooks work at Happy Sappy Studios? Because at the time of his death, he was unemployed, correct?
Yeah, it looks like he was employed roughly 2 months ago, maybe a little less. It does not give any reason for termination, but one could assume that he got on Johnny's bad side or maybe just happened to be in Johnny's line of fire one day.
Thank you.
So I'm going to split you guys up again. Who wants to go to the producer's house?
I think I do.
Anyone else?
I'd like to go with Dr. Stone.
Okay. Dr. Flynn?
I'll join Maddie.
Okay. And Jess, would you rather check? Oh, go ahead, Jess.
I was just going to ask, what are my options?
Would you rather go to the last known whereabouts of producer Josh Corrigan, or would you rather go with Dr. Stone and JSL to Patty's Pastries?
I'll go wherever Josh. We're going with Josh.
Okay. All right. So the three of you will be heading over to the pastries. But first, we are going to take a stop on over to the last known whereabouts of producer Josh. Oh, wait. Quick question. Did you mean in-game Josh or out-of-game Josh?
Josh Corrigan.
Okay, just checking, because I initially thought you meant you wanted to go with this lovely fellow to the pastries.
I don't trust him.
That was rough, harsh.
Shots fired.
Okay.
Well, if Jess dies next, we all know who the killer is.
I'm putting it out there.
So you guys are heading over. Jess, as you head to your rental vehicle to drive on over, you notice that your passenger side door is now open.
I'm going to use sense trouble.
You definitely get a troubled vibe from this.
Okay. Can I use my investigative procedures to just look around my own car, like inside, outside, whole thing, make sure everything's.
So, keeping your distance, your hand. Don't go in the car. Don't go in the car.
Okay, we'll go in the car. We'll just go around the car.
Keeping your distance, walking around, your hand on your side piece, meaning your gun, not
Oh, I thought
The
we were
other
talking
type.
about romance or
Yeah.
something.
Taking a look around, bending down to make sure you can see the undercarriage of the vehicle. You are not seeing anyone around. You are in a parking lot. There's a lot of open area, so you are not seeing any place that someone could hide. However, your door was not open beforehand, and it looks like something is sitting on your passenger seat. And just for reference, the trunk is currently shut.
Is it one of those cars where like the trunk has access to the rest of the car? My car, like my back seat flips like in. Also, yeah, I was just about to say, always check the like behind the driver's seat, like back there between the seats, always.
But you, since this is a rental, you are unsure. Oof. Dogs bark in the distance, and they make you feel a little scared.
Yeah. Okay. So, I'm gonna go around to like the passenger side and open that door and see what's on the seat. I don't want to get in my car yet.
Peering in, it looks like there is a bit of blood and possibly looks like sand on your passenger seat. And I'm going to need you to go ahead and give me a roll for sanity. That is a piece of someone. That is a piece of someone's insides sitting there.
I got a 6.
And you're doing good. You're doing good. You are keeping yourself together. You are composed. You're a little scared, but you are composed. It does not look like anyone is in the vicinity. How do you want to play this?
I have someone else. Do I have anyone else with me? Like, did anyone leave with me, or was I going in my car alone?
You were going to your car by yourself.
Okay, yeah.
It's 1989. Cell phones do exist. You know, I know it's hard to believe that people like me might have had cell phones at a different time, but
yeah, I'm gonna call someone in. Whoever I need to call in, I'm gonna call them.
Who do you want to call in? You have access to all of the agents you've been working with.
Which was Maddie. I'm gonna call him, I think.
All right.
Hello.
So we're gonna skip ahead and say you're there now.
Yeah. Well, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use intuition just to kind of feel the room.
Well, first off, it's a car. It's not a room, so you're just making clear that. But using your intuition, it's very clear right away that this is a message.
Okay.
The door was left open. There's a mess on the passenger seat, and there's a piece of someone. This was a message, and for some reason, that message was left for Jess.
What is the piece? Is it just like a chunk, or is it like a specific body part?
You'd have to get closer to investigate, maybe bag it up.
Well, I'm going to use trivia to figure out what the sand-like substance is.
Right away, using your intuition as well as trivia, it looks like it's brown sugar.
Well, then I guess we know who this is from. Let's use criminology and bag it up and take it over to the lab.
Okay. What are you doing with the car?
I think we're going to impound it and also send it to the lab using criminology and intuition to just make sure that there was no fingerprints or anything, because the killer may have taken his glove off and touched the door handle.
Okay. All right. So that process moves along pretty quickly, but the car is going to be impounded and given a look over. Just so you know, there was no one in the trunk. And a good portion of that gore and parts were bagged up and taken over. So So did you guys want to continue to Mr. Corrigan's, or did you want to look more into the message that was left behind?
I think I'm going to stay behind and use cryptography just to kind of look at the message and see if I can't decode anything.
Well, gore and literal organs were left on the passenger seat of this poor FBI agent, so they wanted the FBI to get this message. They clearly wanted you to know it was who it was from, thus the brown sugar. But why leave a body part? It might be worth looking into what was left behind to truly understand what the message was.
And then I'm also going to compare it to the bodies at the morgue to see who it came from.
And what ability are you going to use for that? And we're going to just go ahead and, since he was going to come with you, we're going to bring in Dr. Fletcher, who is still hanging out with you guys.
I'm going to add cryptography, criminology, and intuition. I'm going to put all three of those together.
Wow. Okay.
I'm not leaving any chance here, guys.
So the organ left behind was an appendix.
Okay.
And there was, in fact, an appendix missing from the most recent victim, Marcus Lopez. You have not run any tests yet, but using your intuition, you get the feeling that if you were to run some tests, you would discover that this is the appendix that belonged to Mr. Lopez. An appendix, using cryptology and really reading into it, has a lot of purposes. There is the metaphorical purpose of sort of like the appendix of a book, something you would use to look something up. So perhaps the killer wants you to look something up.
I still think we need to maybe dig a little bit just to see if maybe Candace was still a real person, just in case he wants it to be an anagram, but it is a real person.
Okay. What abilities would you use to do a background check on, that ridiculous name?
I would use criminology and probably notice, just because it is kind of a random thought.
Not a real person. Dr. Fletcher, Jess, is there anything you wanted to pursue specifically in regards to this message that was left behind for you?
I actually keep thinking about the what was the anagram? What did it turn into again? What did the name?
Consorts and deceptions.
Yeah, I keep thinking about that. And if there's any way we can just I know it's 1989. If there's a general search engine, or if we just go to a library and see if there's a book with that title.
Okay.
I could think about
I like library.
Okay. What skill would you use to maybe look that up?
Would textual analysis help at all?
I would totally give that to you.
Yeah,
I would totally give that to you. So it doesn't seem like there is a book called Consorts and Deceptions, but you're just sort of going through a Consorts and Deceptions. What could that possibly mean? Like escorts and lies?
Do you think that could go back to Johnny, because he does have the nasal powder? Well, we kind of figured that out a little bit ago. He is a major star. Maybe he does. And I still think this is going back towards Johnny.
And quite frankly, consorts has a couple meanings. It could be escort, or it could be perhaps a former consort, like an ex, or perhaps a current consort, like someone you're in a relationship with.
I'm thinking this sounds more like a business name than a book.
Amber Alert.
Ooh, very interesting. So, Jess, you get a phone call from Dr. Crawford. Though it's no longer viewed as such, the appendix was once seen as a vestigial organ. Could also be a message that the victims were useless. Thank you very much, CT Zealot. I really like our guest detectives. This is a lot of fun. I want to do this more often. But Jess, you received word. They ran some tests. So it turns out the appendix does not, in fact, belong to Marcus. Those dogs followed you. There are wild dogs in the Baltimore area, and they've got your scent at this point. It's all right. As SM Clark 1993 says, puppers with 3 exclamation points. It turns out that the appendix does not, in fact, belong to Marcus Lopez, but doing a DNA test is, in fact, the appendix of Josh Corrigan, which is very convenient to receive at this time.
Well, I'm thinking we should definitely go check out his last number, though.
Yeah, I think we need to go there.
Oh.
In addition, when they dissected the appendix, they found hidden within it a business card for Hunter Photography.
Could that be where the one photographer guy that was murdered have worked at?
The third victim?
Like, yeah, the one victim. Was it his business card? Or
Yeah, his last name was Hunter, so yes.
Okay.
So we have a model, a photographer. We're guessing some kind of stagehand. I think we need to just go over and check out Corrigan's last known, find out maybe how long he's been missing or if he is missing.
Yeah, that's true. Someone just said he could get by without his appendix.
Okay. So that's where you guys want to go?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Very good point, though. How long has Corrigan been missing? Thought the serial killer only killed every 12 days. So some things to think about. We're going to leave you guys alone for a little bit, let you ponder these things. And we are going to rejoin our friends, Dr. Caitlin Stone and the brilliant JSL, as they arrive at Patty's Pastries, local pastry biz that's just happens to be the supplier to Happy Sappy Studios.
Hey, Dr. Stone, why don't you go in the front? I'm going to go around the back.
Sounds good. I'm going to buy something.
Okay. So I just want to ask a quick question, JSL. You say you're going around back. Are you looking to slip in the back?
I would like to use my stealth ability to slip at least into any alleyways that might be there, and I want to take a look around in some trash.
Okay.
And see if there's a back door that I may be able to get into.
Okay. We will reconvene with you. As always, when you split up, especially in the Silence of the Lambs universe, you go alone. So, Dr. Stone, you walk directly into the front door of Patty's Pastries. Behind the counter is a very friendly-looking woman. There are a couple people milling about, one of them with children. How do you proceed?
I'm using my people person abilities, and I'm talking to the person who's working this morning, and I'm finding out who they are and if they know about the business relationship with delivering baked goods to Happy
Sappy Studios.
Happy Sappy Studios. And I'm also wondering if they have what they include in their baskets.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. That's no problem. They're happy to talk to you. They do want to know who you are, though, and why you're inquiring about this.
I'm a faculty member at the local university, and I have some early morning classes, and I want to maybe set up a like a pastry delivery for my department, maybe for my class.
Okay, yeah, sure. They're always happy to get more business. And they're happy to talk about their relationship with Happy Sappy Studios. It's a kind of pride. A local bakery, you know, they
I'm also a mom, and so from going to Happy Sappy Studios, I tried the baked goods, and I was just curious.
Well, what did you think? Good, right?
Yeah, they were awesome. They're so good.
Our owner, Mr. Essex, is an absolute genius when it comes to pastries and candies. There is a flavor that you won't find anywhere else in the city. The pies, especially the bread. We get so many bread orders. More candy, more baked goods. But we get quite a few bread orders here as well. Is there anything in particular you're looking to get or buy? We sell candies, lollipops, chocolate bars, homemade, by the way, melted here. Brownies, pies, delicious pies. Cherry pie, rhubarb pie, strawberry pie. We've got chocolate-covered strawberries, chocolate-covered cherries. We even have chocolate-covered bacon, which I know sounds strange, but if you've never tried it, absolutely delicious. Cakes. We have cakes if you like cakes.
And what is the most popular item that you sell?
Popular. With the kids, it's probably our cakes and our brownies, obviously. But we have a large older crowd who come in for our breads. We have lots of.
What makes the bread so unique? And how long has the business been here? It sounds like you have quite the reputation in the neighborhood.
Yes, no, absolutely. We have been here for a few years now. I've only started working here within the past year. Mr. Essex is just a genius. He's a friendly man. He goes around to the parks. He helps the community, gives back to the community.
Mm-hmm.
Is this something to do with him? Because you're not asking as many questions about the pastries as I thought you would be. You seem more interested in the business in general.
Well, I'm concerned about the ingredients, and I know that some of my students have allergies. One of those is brown sugar, so I wanted to know if that's a primary ingredient used in most of the baked goods.
Well, not most of the baked good, but definitely some of the baked goods.
Okay.
For instance, the like cakes that we send over to Happy Sappy Studios absolutely utilize things like brown sugar, molasses, flour, and lots of stuff.
And are they made daily? Because freshness is very key to.
Absolutely. Okay. If it's not me here every morning, it's Mr. Essex himself. He's not just an owner; he is, in fact, himself a baker. I know. I understand. A man baker, but it's 1989. You know.
Well, thank you for your time. I might pop back in a little while, just to bring my my colleague over, JSL, to see if he has any more questions.
No problem. And actually, while you were in fact talking with this lovely baker, JSL, so you slipped into the back alley and you said you wanted to dig through the trash, right?
Yeah, I'm looking for receipts, maybe old punch cards. I'm trying to get an idea on the people who might work here.
Okay.
Any short contracts.
You were definitely stealthy enough. No one has seen you slip into this back alley. What are you using in your search? How are you looking? What do you think might help you in this moment?
I'm gonna start snapping photos on my phone immediately.
Okay.
And I'd also like to use Sense Trouble to ensure that I might have a few minutes back here.
Okay. That's good. That's good. So you're going through the dumpster. A lot of the usual stuff. So there's some like messed up cakes tossed back here. There is what looks like a whole bunch of like cherry or possibly strawberry rhubarb pie filling, just like slopped into the back here. There's some errant pieces of bacon that maybe weren't fresh enough, stuff like that.
Mhm.
Nothing out of the ordinary, just stuff you would need to get rid of if you worked at a bakery.
Is there a rear entrance to the building?
Absolutely.
I'd like to test the lock to see if it's locked.
Using your stealth ability, you stealthily roll up, and it is locked. Is that going to stop you?
I don't think so. I pull out a set of lock picking tools and utilize locksmith.
Okay. Go. Okay, so you pick the lock. That is a technical ability, so you don't actually have to roll for that. And the door is open, and you can hear Dr. Stone still talking with the baker out front. So you've probably got a few minutes. What are you looking for?
I am looking for anything related to Marcus Lopez. I want to know if he worked in this bakery. From what we saw of his uniform, we knew he was wearing a service uniform or industry uniform. I want to take a look around to see any evidence that he was related to this location or any of the other victims.
So you're like heading to an office looking for...
Yeah, I'd like to continue using stealth.
Okay, all right.
Mhm.
So you slip into the office. You are quickly trying to go through some paperwork. You are not finding anything on Marcus Lopez. I'm not sure what you were looking for, but there isn't any paperwork of that nature. There's a lot of bland stuff, some stationery, some pictures of who you assume must be the owner. Very average-looking guy and his wife. Invoices, things of that nature.
Okay, I'm going to snap photographs of any invoices that are there for later use, and I'm looking for any other connections that might seem out of the ordinary using Lowlife in relation to their business with Happy Sappy Studios.
Okay, so using Lowlife. All right, okay. There's quite possibly, it looks like the owner of this bakery might be skimming a few things.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the right word. It looks like they might be getting some of their supplies from less than reputable sources.
Okay.
Because there's more flour, more shortening. Basically, looking real quick, it looks like there's more ingredients than what is actually being paid for.
Oh, okay. And then I'm just going to take a quick scan for any types of keys for vehicles for their use for delivery.
Yeah. There are some keys, and you did see a van coming in as you came in the back alley. Generic white Sprinter delivery.
Sprinter van. All right. I'm going to just take photographs of their kitchen, and I'm going to buzz off. I'm out. I know when to leave.
And you get out very stealthily, and you rejoin your friend Dr. Stone out front of the bakery. What do you guys think? Where do you want to go from here?
Sprinter vans. At least we have something.
I just want to ask the woman who works at the bakery where she gets her uniform, because I have a fashion academic ability, and also really just liked the look, the quality of what she was wearing. So just want to check it out.
So just so you know, the uniform is not the same as the one that was found on Marcus Lopez, if he in fact was wearing a uniform. And it's just average stores, nothing crazy about that.
Like a sale at Kohl's or something, I bet. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks. Yeah.
Is there any way we can observe the van that came in?
Like you want to stake it out?
I just want to just get a brief look at it and maybe take down the license plate number on it. And
Yeah.
make sure we have the make and model.
You can do that with ease. And it is at this point that I'm going to overstep my bounds as a GM and remind you that did you take keys or just take a picture of the keys?
I took, I took a picture of the keys just so I could reference them later on. Did not steal their keys. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Just checking. All right. Anything else you guys want to do, or anywhere you guys want to move on to?
Maybe we could go back and steal the keys.
I mean, I'm game. I'm going stealth. I'm with Dr. Stone. She's got balls.
Okay. So JSL, you're going to go in stealth-wise?
Why not? Might as well.
And Dr. Stone, what are you going to do while JSL puts his himself on the line?
I mean, I'm going to back him up if he needs me, so just let me know. My interpersonal ability is reassurance. So here for you. And I think my final question for the fine baker lady is just about, I don't know if we talked about this, but like, would they deliver to my department if I asked? And who does that? Or is it strictly like picking up the baked goods?
Sure. So Dr. Stone, you go back in, you ask a few more questions. You ask about the uniform. Nothing really interesting there. You ask if they'll deliver. They will absolutely deliver. They clearly want your business, especially if you're talking about delivering to an entire school, They absolutely would deliver. As a matter of fact, the owner, Mr. Essex, does do most of the deliveries.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. And so parking is really limited on campus. And so would we be expecting just the van? Would the van be the one?
Yeah, no, we use delivery vans. I mean, you pretty much have to. If you get a wedding gig, you need enough room to put an entire cake in there without it spilling out. You need to be able to lock it down so it doesn't move around.
Yeah, and to come on campus, it's a very fine, prestigious university, and they take the security of their students very seriously in this day and age. And he would have to have a background check done. So I'm going to use my criminology ability and see if there's any information from Mr. Essex's background check to come onto campus that would any information in there that I would need to know about.
So the baker never heard of anything like that, but I mean, I guess if you have to, she doesn't even know where you would get a background check from. Dr. Stone, you of course could call in an actual background check on the name Daniel Essex if you'd like, and see what comes up.
All right.
Okay. And now JSL, you snuck back in using your stealth ability. And your goal was to just get the keys, or did you want to pilfer anything else while you were in there?
I definitely want the keys. I definitely want to take a cookie from any shelf I find.
Okay, just a cookie?
Yep, that's it. I'm looking for a gingerbread cookie of theirs.
Okay. Luckily, Caitlin was able to keep the baker busy yet again, and you are an old hat at this. You slip in, grab the keys, grab a cookie, and slip out. You guys are back out front. What's the goal here?
So I got your keys, Doc. What's your plan with these? And I toss them to her.
I think that we should just leave it exactly where it is. And because I am not use my knowledge of investigative procedure, I am just a consultant. So I think that it's fine if I just look in the van again for any, and I want to know, maybe fast forward, they have some crazy advanced GPS like Lisa is alluding to, that I'm inferring, that maybe you could tell us about their delivery route and where this van has been.
I I'm sorry to say I don't think there's going to be any crazy advanced GPSs in 1989 being used by your local pastry.
Is there another option related to that?
Yeah. What ability do you think would be best used to try to get that information? And I'm asking both of you.
Could use research. Well, so we need to get inside of the van. So if we want to know what's inside that van and where they're going, we're going to have to go inside of it. Because I bet you we can find slips of paper, addresses. We can find what you're looking for, Doc. And we don't even have to kick in a window.
Maybe there's like some delivery route information, places that they've been to recently.
So giddy up. You open the door. I'll take a peek.
All right, open it up.
I would like at this moment for you to roll a dice, Caitlin, because we know that JSL is stealthy.
Got a 6.
Okay, yeah. Turns out you're pretty stealthy too.
We ninjas.
And again, for those of you listening, our game was built using the Gumshoe system, and pretty much all rolls are done with a generic D6, and sometimes you get pluses on those. It's really, again, this game has been all about simplifying the actions so that we can focus on the investigation. All right, so you guys get in, rifling through papers, and you find a couple, you find some delivery information, like clearly like places, orders that were placed, and a schedule of deliveries that was being made.
All right, let's.
Typically, are you looking for here?
Let's see if we can place them in the area around putting on the fits at any point in time on that route.
Yeah, I mean, he would not have had to go too far out of his way to be around putting on the fits yesterday, by the looks of it.
Sounds like we got 2 minutes.
Are there any packs of cigarettes around? Because I know that at least one of our victims seemed to smoke cigarettes, or at least they found a cigarette pack at the scene of the crime.
No cigarettes in the vehicle. It's assumed that with the matches that were found in the wallet, that the cigarettes just belonged to Marcus Lopez.
Is there anything out of the ordinary? I have an infiltration ability, or I don't know if that one fits, but I have an investigative procedure technical ability, and I'm just curious if there's anything out of the ordinary in the van that might lead us to further suspect Mr. Essex as being involved in the crimes.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not sure. You don't work at a bakery. But there's a lot of stuff in the back here. Some white boxes, like the ones that you fold and unfold. But there's also like straps. I mean, granted, maybe they need to like strap down like a big cake if you were going to deliver it, but you're not entirely sure. You've never worked at a bakery. But it seems like there's a lot of stuff in the back of this van just for some pastry deliveries.
Can we get to the back of the van and inspect it more deeply? Can I use research for that?
I'll let you do.
Or sense trouble.
I'll let you do research. What exactly are you like looking for in the back of this van? Because obviously you don't have the ability to do any forensics.
Yeah, so I'd like to take photographs of the back of the van, see if I can pull up anything even slightly in terms of looking for blood splatter, anything that looks out of the ordinary, binds that might be ripped or torn, or things that definitely don't look like they belong in a van. Oh yeah, somebody watched the doors of the van.
I got you back.
Okay, yeah, so you take your photos in and out. And again, this could all just be bakery delivery stuff, but let's just say if you were a real lowlife JSL,
Yeah,
you could also use these for other things. SM Clark 1993 just pointed out Ted Bundy might have had a field day with this vehicle.
Yeah. Oh man. Wow. Yeah. Or the toy box killer. Yeah. I think something shady's going on here. This is way more than you need to deliver a cake.
Okay. How would you guys like to proceed?
I think we should get out of here before things turn south on us. You ain't got a badge or a gun, do you?
No.
Okay, good move. So we're going to let you guys get out of there, ponder some things, and we are going to rejoin our friend who were going to the last known whereabouts of Josh Corrigan. Thank you, Dr. Stone. Thank you, JSL. And we are bringing back Jess. No food this time? You're muted, so whatever.
I know. I was figuring it out. I said no. Oh, I do have one more cookie. Never mind. I thought I ate them all. Look at me.
Okay, so you guys go to a boring suburban neighborhood, not too far out of the city. How are you guys proceeding?
I've been mulling over some of the evidence so far, and I'm starting to think that things aren't adding up. There are implications we haven't considered, particularly considering Dr. Lecter's interview. At the time, his intelligence seemed bombarding, but now that I'm thinking back over the words he used, things are not adding up. Lecter's from Lithuania. I know that from reading his work in the past. So English is not his first language, but there were severe slip-ups in his word use, and I'm wondering if he's trying to give us a clue somehow.
Can I use morale on Fletcher real quick?
Yeah. If that's something you want to do, you can absolutely use morale if you want to give a roll for that.
Yeah, I think he needs it. 5.
Okay.
Just 5?
Well, +5 +5.
Oh, okay, all right. I was just checking. Okay, so what do you say to him?
Just, take a second, breathe, get your thoughts together. Ignore my dog.
Taking a breather. What I'm saying, Lecter used the word brazen multiple times throughout the different interviews, but he didn't say brazen, he said brazen. And there's no such word as brazen. And I thought maybe this is a simple miscommunication. Lecter's first language, I don't think, is English, and he's not from America. Maybe it's a different dialect. But then when we were referring to the killer's gender and sexuality, he used the word sapphic after I suggested the possibility of being a man dealing with his own sexual frustrations. And I went with it thinking that he was simply referring to the potential homosexuality of our killer, but sapphic refers exclusively to lesbians. I'm wondering if brazen might be a reference to a bra.
And I'm going to use trivia to answer that question.
Okay. So I need to know what exactly the train of thought is.
He basically thinks that brazen, Dr.
Okay. So you guys are thinking the killer might be a woman?
I'm thinking that's a possibility.
Okay. Or let's have you whip out some of your psychological skills, Dr. Fletcher.
All right.
It could be a woman, though categorically they're usually not women. As we know, it's usually white males. But perhaps the killer wishes they were a woman or identifies more with women.
Sorry. Thunderstorms, what can I say?
You are all right. So,
Arizona in September, what can I say? So
So this is a good thought process. Are you guys? I'm assuming you guys are having this conversation out front of Mr. Corrigan's house.
Yes.
So far, no one has come outside to ask who the wild-haired Christopher Lloyd impersonator is. Two FBI agents.
Can I use cover to get all of us out of the open?
Yeah, easy. But I mean, if you want to roll, go ahead. But you can totally just walk out of.
Cool. Then we'll do that,
Yeah.
so we're not having this conversation in front of his house.
Sure. So with this information or not with this information, how do you guys plan on proceeding here? You've made it to the house. You've made it this far. What next?
I think we should just add people person in interrogation, and we just knock on the door, because we did find his appendix in the car. So maybe what we need to do is just inquire if they've heard of him, because Jess and I both have badges and guns. I mean, if we have to, I can, we can, we could add, impersonate if we have to, but let's use criminology, people person, and interrogate, and just knock on the door and see what we learn.
Okay.
Hey, Joey. Real quick, before we go in, just from being in front of the house, can I use sense trouble in front of the house before we knock or anything?
Absolutely. Something doesn't seem right. That's the best you can come up with. And Kelly Reeves would like to remind one of you to possibly check the back. Although I must say that I love the assertion that since you found his appendix, your goal is to knock on the door and be like, hey, Mr. Corrigan, we found your appendix and we were wondering, have you noticed it was missing recently?
Well, maybe he woke up in a bathtub full of ice. You never know.
Okay. So what exactly is the plan? Will one of you be checking the back, or are you all going through the front?
I will.
I think we should split up a little bit.
I think Maddie should stay and knock on the door. I'll go around back since I also have a gun and a badge. And then Fletcher, whatever you're feeling, whatever you want, dude.
All right.
I'll go with Maddie.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say he comes with me. That way we can kind of talk to him and kind of get into people's heads just to see what's going on.
Jess, will you do me a favor and do a roll again for cover?
Yeah.
As you head into the back.
I got 2, but I have +5, so 7.
Okay. All right. So using your skills, you sort of slip around back, trying to stay clear of any windows, gun at the ready. Maddie and Dr. Fletcher, you guys approach the door, and you said you knock?
Yeah.
No answer.
Is the door open?
You could try it.
Yeah, well, I'm going to kind of put my hand on the door just to kind of see if it opens.
We don't have a warrant, Maddie.
No, but if the door is open, we can go in because there could be a crime.
Is that true, audience members? Can you totally just walk into a house if the door is open?
This is supremely unethical.
No, it's the 80s.
If it's already open, if you don't have to turn the handle as a...
So Maddie, you push on the door, but it does not move inward. You could try the handle if you'd like. SM Clark 1993 would like us to know, if you suspect a crime is being committed or hear someone calling for help, you have legal recourse to go in.
Okay.
Is there a doorbell?
Yeah, is there a doorbell?
Yeah, of course there's a doorbell. Would you like to try ringing the doorbell?
I would like to try the doorbell.
And
Okay.
I'm going to kind of peek through and see if there's any windows that I can see through.
Okay. You try the doorbell, Fletcher. There's no answer. Maddie.
No sounds from inside?
I mean, you hear the doorbell.
But nothing else.
No, perhaps you think the doorbell sounds like something if you're looking for a sound, but that would be entirely in your head. If you'd like, you could even do a psychological roll.
I think I will.
Go ahead and give me a roll. Maddie, you... No, the only sound you hear is the doorbell. As badly as you might want to hear something else, you only hear the doorbell. Maddie, you look through the window out front, and the living room is a mess. Like it looks like there was some sort of altercation here, just from immediately looking at.
So I'm going to go ahead and use intuition, and I'm just going to, because of what we saw, open the door.
Okay. The door opens when you turn the handle.
Okay.
I don't like this.
I'm going to announce myself, FBI. And is there any response?
So, Jess, you are out back, and you hear from inside Maddie yell FBI. What do you do, Jess?
Is there a back door?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a back door.
I'm just gonna try and open the back door first. If it doesn't open, then I guess I'm kicking that bitch in.
Okay. I like that. You go to kick in the back door. So, Maddie and Fletcher, you guys are inside. You yell FBI, and there is no response.
Okay, so I'm going to use criminology and just kind of scan the room.
Okay. Taking a look, there was definitely some sort of altercation here. Or, I mean, things are knocked over. If there was a fight here, it was a big fight. It was all over the room. I mean, this kind of looks like a 400-pound 4-year-old came in and did a tornado move with his fists. Everything is knocked down and out.
So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the back door. I'm going to keep walking through, and I'm going to go to the back door, and I'm going to let Jess in.
Okay. You go to the back door. You unlock the back door. You open the back door. Jess isn't there.
So I'm gonna use notice and see if I can just see if there was maybe a struggle in the backyard.
I mean, it'd be hard to tell. It's just grass. I mean, there's definitely the ground looks like there were people back there, but you don't know if it's new or old.
Okay.
While he's doing that, I want to check the other rooms in the house, particularly the bathroom.
Okay. All right. So you are going through the house. Is there a particular skill you'd like to try to use, Doctor?
I think inspiration's the best I can do.
I like that. And Acid Mouth wants us to think, were they looking for something? Or are there just things smashed, drawers open, things like that? Some stuff to keep in mind. So you are going through, Dr. Fletcher, and you think to yourself, cement. You decide, if you'd like, to check out the basement.
I think I'm going to wait until Maddie's done with what he's doing.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to Dr. Fletcher. I'm going to go back inside, and we're going to have a little bit of a conversation.
Okay.
Is the power working?
Yeah,
Power is working.
Okay, I think we're going to use criminology, and we're going to go ahead and very carefully go to see if there is a basement.
There is a basement. There is a door in the kitchen that leads downstairs. I guess the real question is, I would assume that you would go first, Maddie, since you're the only one with a gun.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'll go ahead and go first. I'm going to...
Wait, Maddie. I think that we should call some of our other teammates and just let them know what we're doing. If something goes wrong here, I want them to know our last location.
Yeah, let's go ahead and call Dr. Stone and JSL and kind of tell them that what's happened. Let them know that Jess has disappeared, and we think we might have found maybe the crime scene.
Okay. All right. You relay that information. So now what? Going down?
But as we go down, are the lights on in the basement? I'm assuming not.
I mean, there is a switch. Like if you open the kitchen door, there is a switch that you could flip that would The lights
I want
do
to flip
turn on.
that switch. Okay,
Yeah.
so we have light.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and use intuition and very slowly go downstairs.
Okay. You very slowly go downstairs, and there is a smell. It is a smell of rot. The basement itself looks fine. It looks normal, but there is a very distinct rotting smell down here.
I'm going to use criminology, and I'm going to look and see if there's maybe a drain.
A drain?
Yeah, it's something that we could put body parts down.
Nothing like that. There are some drains in the floor, like maybe if water gets in, but there's nothing that you could fit entire body parts down if that's what you're looking for.
Okay, using the same thing, is there blood around there?
So looking around, there's no blood around the drain, but that smell is starting to get to you, and it seems to be coming from the back dark corner.
Maddie, can you do do you have a skill that might help us do a general overview of the room to get a good lay of it? I don't have anything like that.
I do. I have intuition. I'm going to use criminology as well as intuition to just kind of scan the room.
Okay. Criminology, intuition, you're looking around. So it looks like some tools, like some generic tools, like a saw, maybe a hammer. It looks like they are no longer where they would have been on the workbench.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and walk over and check that out. Go ahead.
Also, you notice as you head over there, there is a scrap of cloth, small one, maybe no larger than a quarter, hanging off of an errant nail sticking out of the workbench.
So I think first we'll start with, I think we should start with the tools, Doctor, and then we can move over. Maybe we can see if something had been cut here. Maybe, they were trying to get rid of the body, or they're building something. Maybe we could see if cement, because remember, one of the victims had cement under their fingernails. So maybe using that nail, they were hanging here while they were working on it, and maybe they went to scratch somebody, or the killer had them help.
So just doing a general look around, the walls are cement, but you're not seeing any scratches or anything like that that would explain the cement under the nails. So wherever the cement came from, it doesn't look like it came from here. You're not really finding any blood. You do find the source of that smell, which turns out to be directly almost behind the workbench is a rat. It looks like a rat was killed. Perhaps smashed with a hammer, you aren't entirely sure. And as for the workbench itself, there are a couple tools there and a couple tools missing. You think maybe a saw and a hammer was taken. But again, you're not seeing any signs that this place is in fact a crime scene outside of the stuff you found upstairs.
So I think we need to go back upstairs.
Okay.
There was a dark corner mentioned, though. We haven't checked out the dark corner yet, have we?
No, that's where we found the rat.
Yeah, that's where
Okay.
you found the rat. So as you guys go back upstairs, the colleagues you called, out of curiosity, did you call Jess's phone or try to call Jess's phone, or did you immediately only call JSL and Dr. Stone? Dr. Stone's phone.
Yeah,
I don't think we tried the phone.
I guess we probably should have called Jess.
Yeah.
Okay. You call and there's no answer. So, Dr. Stone, JSL, you guys arrive. As always, we're going to assume that you all know the information that you've all received in your various different locations, so you don't have to reshare that information in front of our audience. Okay. Where do you guys go from here?
Well, we got the sticky icky going on, but where's the blonde?
She was supposed to check out the back, and we went inside and found that, somebody had the fight went on, and she was supposed to come through the back door, and we got back there and she was gone.
What do you think?
We didn't call the phone number.
Yeah. Brave policeman, get out your guns. Shall we go look for her?
Yeah, should we check the backyard?
Yeah, you can check the backyard. Go ahead. You can all go head out back there and see what you can find.
Yeah, I'm gonna stealth ahead.
Okay. You stealth ahead. The backyard looks empty. It's not a large backyard. It has a chain link fence around it.
Is there a gate on that back fence by any chance?
There is a gate. Yes, it is open. Jess most likely would have opened it if she were heading into the backyard.
I'd like to.
Chain link would allow anyone to see into the backyard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there any evidence of them having a pet at this home?
No. Beside from the rat found downstairs, it doesn't look like there was any pets.
Wasn't a pet rat.
Yeah, I'm gonna take photographs of the ground outside of the door, in the grass in the backyard, and anything leading up to the fence as well. I want to see if I can see some pathing here. Where'd our friend go?
I'm gonna walk the back chain link fence, see if there's anything, maybe a better sign of a struggle back there.
So you guys aren't seeing anything like there's no blood. There's no sign of like ripped cloth or anything of that nature. There's grass and there's marks in the grass. Maybe it looks like there were a couple people back here. Maybe it looks like something was drugged through here. But again, it's all just conjecture. Whatever happened, it could be that Jess just left. Now, granted, considering the case you've been working on and all the things that you guys have been dealing with, you're not thinking Jess would just disappear without.
Maddie, why did you let her go alone?
You could have gone with her too. I mean,
I know.
Could have gone with her, but
I would like to ask if there's any way that there's surveillance around this property. I have a general ability of surveillance.
There is not. There is no surveillance.
Okay.
From what I've seen, no cameras anywhere.
So what I would like to do is walk to the neighbor's house and knock on the front door and see if maybe they saw something while Jess went around back.
Okay. Are you using any skills?
Yeah, I'm going to use people person and interrogation. Maybe they know I've a gun and a badge, so they'll talk a little more.
All right, so you go next door. There's a little old lady who answers. And what exactly are you asking?
Just recently, if she heard maybe a commotion, kind of see if maybe she saw Jess get taken, or if she heard something when the commotion in the house happened.
Is it just you talking, or is it all of you there?
I think it's.
I
just
want to
Maddie.
join in on this conversation.
Okay. I guess it's a good thing that you joined in, Dr. Fletcher, because that little old lady definitely remembers you making a bit of a commotion out front of her house about an hour or so ago. But nothing suspicious. What exactly would you mean by suspicious? Are there people doing drugs around here? Is it those gangbangers and whatnot? She's seen a number of white vans driving back and forth recently, and they do not look like delivery vans. Thank you very much. She knows what those vans are used for.
Okay.
Sex.
So I'm going to ask her if there have been a lot of people in and out of the house the last few days.
Her house?
No, next door.
Not that she knows. There was a bit of a commotion about a day ago. But you know what? That young boy was always screaming at night, always seemed to have a problem.
Okay.
I want to come over with infiltration and people person and speak with the neighbor. First, what is her name?
We're gonna call her Betty.
Betty. So Betty, tell me more about this young man that was screaming?
I mean, she doesn't know much, just what she hears, but he's some biggie producer guy, and he always seems to have people coming in and out, and there's always some sort of fight going on.
Did you ever hear what they were fighting about?
Well, look, it's none of her business, but she thinks that maybe whoever he was talking to, they don't sound like a friend. They sound like more than a friend, if you get what I'm saying, which is perfectly fine. It's 1989. She's not against that kind of thing, but those people tend to have certain lifestyles.
Mm-hmm. And you were talking about the vans?
Oh,
they're not delivery vans? Tell me about that.
Oh, the white vans. Oh, I know what those are for. I watched 2020. Okay, I understand exactly what people are doing. Those white vans, it could, maybe it's a plumber. Maybe they say they're there to deliver your mail, but those vans don't have any windows. It's because people are doing stuff inside. Sex things.
And how often? And I want to ask her, how often did she see these vans recently?
There's been about 1 or 2 vans that have been coming or going pretty much every day.
Okay.
I have a question here. Betty, you said that there were vans, and now you're suggesting that there are 1 to 2 vans. Why are you assuming that there would be more than one van? This seems like a strange thing to be happening in the neighborhood, right?
Well, they are always in pairs. Always. When you're doing the drugs and you're doing the sex, there's always somebody with like an Uzi, or probably 2 Uzis. I lock my doors at night. I understand.
Have you seen the Uzis? Or are you just...
I haven't seen the Uzis, but I know they're there. I'm not stupid.
I definitely don't think you're stupid. I think that you're providing us with a ton of really helpful information, Betty.
Yeah.
Betty, by any chance, did you see the people who got out of the van?
No. But I always see them driving. They always seem to park round out back or around the corner, so you don't, catch them with the drugs and the sex and the Uzis.
And they always came to this particular house next door?
They're just in the neighborhood. This was supposed to be a nice neighborhood, but quite frankly, ever since that boy moved in next door, there's been problems.
I'd like to sidle up and use assess honesty on her statement about what she's seen.
Yeah, she believes what she's seen.
She believes it. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we need to go back over to the house. I think I'm going to go ahead and thank Betty for her time, and I'm going to walk back over to the other house.
I think we are going to give you guys some time to think, and I think that it might be a good time to see how Jess is doing. Jess, you come to, and you're cold. Okay? You cannot see. There is some sort of bag over your head. And it smells overwhelmingly like sweetness, brown sugar, molasses. You can feel your hands and your ankles tied, and you are seated in some sort of chair. Is your goal to just sit there and wait for rescue, or would you like to?
No. I'm gonna use investigative procedures to just look around and see if there's anything I can use to get myself out of here.
Looking is not going to help you because you have a bag over your head.
Oh, that's right. Are my hands tied to the chair or just tied together?
So it just seems like you're tied together. You are sat in this chair.
So can I take the bag off my head?
Your hands are behind your back. So unless you're really flexible, I'm going to say no. Some good questions being brought up.
Yeah, that is a good question. What am I tied with?
So it feels plastic.
Like
but it's not like hard plastic like a zip tie. Like it kind of feels like that off-brand plastic twine.
I mean, I guess, yeah, can I, like, if I'm just sitting, can I lean forward and just shake this bag off my head if it's just sitting there?
Sure, you can give it a go. So you give it a little shake. The bag does fall off, but it does not help with seeing anything. Wherever you are, it is dark. As you shook the bag off too, you felt little bits of like what you assume to be brown sugar messing around in your hair.
No, I'm not that flexible. Someone said, can you wiggle your hands in front of you? No way. I had to think about it. I'm not tied to the chair then, right? Like,
no, you're not tied to the chair. You're sitting in the chair. Your hands are behind your back with the back of the chair, like your arm is around the back of the chair.
now I got
So again, if you could like lift your arms up immediately over your head, but I don't know if that's physically possible without having without disjoining something.
Yeah, personally I can't do it, but if you say I can do it, I can do it.
People seem to really want to help you.
I know, and they're so smart. I can't really find a corner because I can't see anything. It's not going to be the easiest to move around in this chair. I'm afraid to speak. I guess I should though, shouldn't I?
If you'd like.
Sure, I'll ask if anyone's there. See if I get a response.
Let's take a look at your skills for just a second. Can you give me a sense trouble roll?
Oh yeah, sure. I didn't know if I should use that because obviously I'm in trouble.
Right, but it has more specific uses sometimes.
Okay, I got a 3, but I have +5, so 8.
You don't get any response, but you get the distinct feeling that someone is in this dark room with you, and you think you might hear movement, like footsteps.
Is there anything I can do to try and like break out of these? If it's
dogs barking outside, it lets you know that you're probably not too far from where you've been conducting your investigation.
All right. I'm gonna yell. I'm gonna scream.
Like top of your lungs?
Yeah, for help.
Okay. You start screaming, and you are quickly gagged. Some sort of rag is shoved in your mouth. It's got a damp and slightly metallic taste to it. You can still keep screaming if you'd like, but it's muffled at this point.
No, I'll save my energy. Do I have anything on me that I couldn't?
So
no, I guess
not. While you are thinking about that, and just for reference, no, your gun is no longer on you. Just so you know.
Yeah. Okay.
So after the gag has been placed in your mouth, a soft voice asks you kindly not to scream unless you want something far worse to happen.
Okay. I was gonna say, can I talk to them? But I have the gag in. Can I try and see if they'll take it out?
How would you get that information out of there?
I was hoping to somehow use bureaucracy in here.
I'm going to say it doesn't work. It's dark. You got a gag in your mouth. You are not able to appeal to their bureaucratic sensibilities to remove the gag.
All right. Can I use tradecraft to try and figure out what they want? Yes, I know I still have the gag in, but
Tradecraft is more about trading one thing for another. So I guess the question would be, what would you trade to get information from them?
I was more thinking like asking what they want and see if I can give it, but
Again, it's just a difficult thing for you to do with the gag in your mouth.
you've not made this easy on me.
I have not made it easy. You screamed.
I did scream. Even before that, I'm tied up. Are my legs tied to the chair? My feet just tied. No.
No. You're not sure why, but you would assume that maybe whoever brought you here was working hastily.
Okay. Can I try and kick out, see if I hit anything?
Your goal is to kick backwards, basically?
Yeah.
I would actually like you to use morale on yourself.
Okay.
So please give me a roll.
4 + 5, 9.
Damn, good roll. Okay, you kick backwards, and you feel the chair connect with whoever is behind you. There is a grunting noise as they fall over and they clatter against something. You're not sure what, but you've definitely connected. What's your next move?
Is the chair still upright or am I like down at this point?
So you were sitting, hands behind your back. You kicked out. You went backwards. The chair then came down, and you're basically still sitting in the chair. You kind of went back on the back legs, and then you came forward. So your feet are back on the ground, though tied, and the chair is still intact. How would you like to proceed? You've definitely knocked this person down. You've caught them off guard. Now, what are you going to do with it?
I'm gonna try and get up and move, even though my feet are tied. See what I can do.
Okay, it's dark. What is the goal here?
I kind of want to see if I can grab anything that he dropped. Like if it was metal, it's probably something I could use.
So you want to go backwards.
Yeah.
So you basically want to get up, drop backwards like onto the chair with your hands in the hopes of grabbing something.
Yeah.
Please roll morale again.
One +5, so 6.
Okay, so this all happens very quickly. You get up, you drop backwards with the chair. The person who you knocked over is clearly still there. And as you come down with the chair, you hear a snapping sound of wood. You are pretty sure you have broken the chair. You definitely landed on a person because they scream, and it is a high-pitched squeal of pain. So that cracking noise you heard might also be their ribs. However, that cracking noise you heard was also both of your wrists as you landed directly on them. So there's a good news, bad news situation. Good news, the chair is broken. You probably hurt whoever your assailant was. Bad news, your wrists are broken and still tied behind your back. But it's 2-1. That's 2 good versus 1 bad. What now? What?
I'm probably gonna have to use morale a lot here. Even though my wrists are broken, I got a lot of adrenaline going through me. I'm fighting for my life at this point. I'm gonna try and still like feel around for something to grab.
Okay, I want you to roll morale again, but I'm definitely going to dock you points for 2 broken wrists at the moment.
That's fine. That's fair.
So go right ahead.
It's a 3 plus the 5, so.
Oh my God, that is really close. So your wrists are broken, which is making it hard. You feel cold metal, and you are able to sort of half-acidly, I will say, grip it between like your finger and palm. You're not sure how long you can hold on to it, but you definitely have grabbed something. Based off the cold metal, it feels like a knife. Now what?
Can I try and use the knife to cut my hands free?
Yes, but I'm going to dock you points again.
I know.
Go ahead.
6 plus 5.
Okay. You try. You actually manage to cut your palm and then drop the knife. And now there are arms wrapped around your torso, moving towards your neck. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna move around as much as I can, and the closer they get to my neck, I'm gonna bite.
You're gonna. Okay. Are you're gonna bite? You said.
Yes.
We're gonna
drop the knife.
We're gonna keep using morale here. You're just keeping yourself going.
Yeah.
I'm still docking you, but go ahead.
4 plus 5.
Okay. You bite into a forearm. They scream and they loosen up. So this would be your chance, say, perhaps to get away, or you could continue to lay there. Up to you.
No, I'm gonna try and get away at this point.
Okay. What is the goal?
Just get as far away from them as possible, since I don't really know where I'm going, since it's
okay.
It's black, right?
This time, I'd like you to roll cover. You're in a dark room. Maybe you can at least hide.
Yeah. 2 plus 5.
Okay. You get up. You're in a lot of pain, but you roll onto your knees. You get on your legs and you start moving. You start bumping into things, but then you start trying to hide behind those things. You hear footsteps go past you. It seems that you are successfully hidden for the time being, but with 2 broken wrists, being in a lot of pain, and the killer down here looking for you, how long will you last? I guess that's really a question for the rest of my agents. How long is Jessica going to last? Really, she'd fare much better if people could find her. So, all right, guys, something is actually on the line now. It appears that Jess has been taken, and she's going to die unless you find her. She very well might be the next body to show up sometime in the next 12 days. What are you guys going to do?
She can't be far.
Yeah, she had to have gone past the backyard. So I think we need to maybe go out the backyard, see if there's maybe an alley back there.
There is not. This is suburban neighborhood. It's all backyards.
So she's got to be within one of 3 or 4 places.
Yeah, anything in any structures in the backyard? That was my next question. Thank you, CT Zealot.
I also want to be nice and say that time at this moment is working a lot like a Game of Thrones episode.
So we have to be fast, guys.
But
What season?
so there is not a shed in the backyard.
Okay, have we top to bottom the house that we were looking in?
Yeah, we've got.
Maddie and Fletcher went through outside of the like issues. Outside of the mess, you really didn't find anything.
I think we're wasting time. There's no reason that she couldn't have been taken to a van. Like,
She's got
we
to be
could
in,
have easily missed that.
yeah, she's got to be in one of these houses. I'm gonna go to the next door neighbor on the opposite side of the victim's house.
Okay. What are you looking for?
I'm gonna use intuition and criminology just to kind of look around and see if maybe, there's some dark out windows towards the basement area.
All right. So
and I'm going to use morale and hope that these next steps are going to lead us to her.
roll morale.
Five.
You don't know. You're trying to boost morale at this moment, but you're feeling pretty low. You're all feeling a bit ragged. Unfortunately, Maddie, the next door neighbor looks normal. There's no blacked out windows. You look at you see one of those tiny basement windows cut into the ground, and you see nothing inside the basement. So, I mean, that was clearly taken somewhere. Just where? You guys have been going through this. You have all the clues. Where would he take her?
Guys, if she's anywhere, she's probably been taken possibly back to the bakery. We know they're using those cars for something. We know it. And now Jess is gone.
Yeah, maybe we should go back to the bakery.
Okay. You guys good with that?
We could be wasting time, though. Was there any sign of a basement in the bakery?
Not that I saw.
But you were pretty quickly in and out. So I'm going to immediately get you guys back to the bakery. It's still the middle of the day, still operation hours. What's the goal?
Check and see if they have a basement.
Yeah, we need to get inside the back room again.
Baltimore, it's not San Antonio, the Alamo. They have to have a basement.
Because as we know from Pee-wee's Big Adventure, the Alamo has no basement. But is the goal to go in through the front door and start asking questions? Or, as from Brad to Worse would like you guys to do, go in guns blazing? Or are you guys trying to sneak in? Like Josh did before.
Yeah, I mean, I can get us in the back, no problem.
Yeah,
I want to go in the front. I think it's a stealth in the front, and then a couple people going in the back and seeing what's been going on.
Yeah, I think I'll go with JSL to the back using impersonate and infiltration and see if we can't get through the back door.
Fletcher?
I'll go with Dr. Stone.
Okay, cool. So you guys go in front. That same lady is working the counter. What are you guys saying?
I came back to place my order for the apartment.
She is keeping the front occupied. So JSL and Maddie, you guys are stealthing in through the back. Okay. JSL, you are still an old hat at this. You've broken in here twice now. You slip in through the back. You are immediately in the kitchen. Where do you go from here?
I'm gonna start looking at the floors. Tons of restaurants have downstairs where they do their dishes. Tons.
Okay.
So I'm looking for storm drains.
From where you are to the right, it does look like there is a basement going down. To the left is the office that you checked out before.
Okay, I'm going for the basement, and I'm going to check to see if it's locked. And if it is locked, I'm going to use locksmith.
It is not locked, and I'm assuming you immediately rush downstairs?
Sense trouble at the top of the stairs.
Okay. You don't sense anything. It's very quiet.
Fuck. We're going down there. Let's find out what's there. Maddie, are you with me?
Yep, let's go.
Okay. You guys hurry down the steps. You turn the light on, and it's bakery stuff.
It's just
Um,
So I'm going to stop you right there. I'm going to use intuition and criminology to see if there's maybe an extra door, like a hidden door in this room.
No, it does not look like there is an extra hidden door. I would ask, what led you guys to come back to the bakery?
Knowing that our van. Oh, yeah. It's the vans. It's the vans.
Um,
I'm up at the front, and I wanted to talk to Dr. Essex. I mean, Mr. Essex, the owner, with my people person skill, just to see if he is around. Really wants to meet the pillar of the community who does volunteer work, gives back. So where is he?
Oh, Mr. Essex.
Uh-huh.
He isn't working today. I mean, he did a few deliveries, but he's maybe home, or maybe he's out on business or something.
Do you know?
What's his address?
Whoa. Excuse me. I thought you wanted to place an order for pastries for your school.
Yeah, I really want to try the bacon. Do you have like a assortment with gingerbread and bacon and a cake?
Yes, we do. Why exactly are you asking for the address of my employer?
I want to send him a thank you and ask him if he's interested in being on the board of a new nonprofit that I'm going to open. You know, we use people with all different types of abilities on boards, especially with business background, neighborhood interests. So I want to give him a direct invitation.
If you have a card or something, I'd be happy to pass the information along. And just going back to Matt and JSL, you guys at this point have done a thorough search. There's no basement under the basement, no extra doors. Jess is not here. So if you guys do believe it has something to do with the bakery, where else might it take them?
These vans are on the move. We know where they're going. Happy Sappy Studios.
Yeah, we could go back to Happy Sappy.
We're going to say you guys have reconvened out front of the store, unless there was something else you wanted to look at or pilfer in the store, JSL or Maddie.
Is there a stack of uniforms?
No, nothing like that, unfortunately.
And is our van still outside?
That van, that one van is still out there, yes.
All right, guys, let's take this van to Happy Sappy Studios. Let's get inside.
Oh shit! You are stealing a van now. Okay.
I will follow behind them in the other car, just so we don't get there and get stuck.
Oh, I know I'm the game master and I should be impartial, but I'm gonna say chicken. Sure, no, that's fine. You can follow.
Wait. We can all discuss this decision before we go, right?
Sure,
Or you can let Jess die.
Yeah, you could discuss it as long as you can discuss it and then do whatever you need to do within 15 minutes.
Okay, so we have the car we came in. We only came in one car, right? And then we have the van that we can steal if you think it's ethically sound to do so. I think we need to get the address of the owner.
Okay, so what we can do then, you guys head over to Happy Sappy. I will stay here with the car. I will go in and use interrogation on the clerk, having a badge. And I will catch up with you guys. You guys take the van. I will stay here with the car, and I will meet you there.
Well,
I'm not leaving Maddie alone.
That's a good way to go about it. But here's the question: if you are getting the address of the owner, is your goal to then go visit the owner? Here's what's going to happen. You guys have enough time to probably make it to one location altogether, or you can split up and try to go to two locations. So I need to know exactly who is going where.
Other thoughts, we know everybody's been dumped in an alley.
But we also
Yeah,
know that they weren't killed in an alley.
Yeah, they weren't killed in an alley. Yeah.
I think I'd rather go on the delivery route. You know, like where is the van going? I don't think he's going home. Maybe he's on his way back to Joshua's. I don't know.
Well, you
Where's the next delivery gonna be?
you guys just came from Josh's.
Yeah. Well, that's one place the van goes.
All right. Time is ticking, folks. So I need to know exactly where everyone wants to go. I don't care if you split up. I just got to know.
I think we have to split up.
Yeah, I don't see how
We just have to do very fast.
Okay,
So
cool.
I'm going to get the address to his place. I'll go there. Why don't you guys, a couple of you, go to the studio, and we can reconvene after that because both of them should have a place that they could go. We don't know what his place looks like, and Happy Sappy is a studio, so they could have a dark, quiet place to put a body.
Okay.
So, do we have radios? We can contact each other, right?
Yeah, you can contact each other.
Okay.
So, Maddie and Dr. Fletcher, from what I understand, you guys are going to get the information and go to Essex's house?
Yeah.
Okay. And JSL, I know you wanted to go to the studio, correct?
Oh, yeah.
And Caitlin, are you going to go with JSL or you want to check out somewhere else?
I'm gonna go with JSL.
Okay, cool. So you guys are splitting up. It is at this moment that I would like to point out Maddie is the only one with a gun. So I am immediately going to get rid of Dr. Stone and JSL for just a second. I'm going to go fast here. Maddie, you go in. You're a little sweaty. You're flipping your badge. And you are, we need to know where this guy lives immediately. Okay? She gives you the information. I don't think the company is big enough. Okay, cool. So you get the information and you are immediately going to the owner's house, correct?
Yep.
All right, you guys get there. What do you do?
First thing we're going to do is we're going to listen to
Ring the doorbell.
Okay, cool. While you're listening, Maddie, the doorbell is rung. No one answers. Now what?
Kind of walk around, see if maybe there's a van out back.
There is not a van out back. It doesn't look like there are any cars here at the moment. Tell me what ability you're using, Maddie.
I'm going to use intuition, criminology to kind of look around, see if maybe, and notice. We'll throw notice in there as well. See if anything jumps out.
Yeah, every single window here, Fletcher, I'm loving this. Every single window here is covered at least in some fashion.
So I'm going to bang on the door, see if I hear anything.
Nothing. You hear nothing.
I'm going to jiggle the handle. Is the front door or
Maddie, I think we have to do it. We have to break in.
Yeah, I'm kicking the bitch open.
Okay. Ooh, language. All right. You, as you say, kick the bitch open and you head in. What do you? It doesn't look like anyone is here. No one comes to see what the commotion is. What are you doing?
Draw your gun, Matt.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to draw my gun. Yep.
Okay, your gun is drawn. What ability are you using? Nice gun, by the way.
Thank you. I'm going to use intuition, criminology to look around and see if there's something, because, if they drug her in, something had to have gotten moved.
Okay, so intuition, you go to the kitchen, bakery, and you open the fridge, and holy God, there are straight up candied body parts. You see at least one eyeball. You aren't sure what happened to the other one. Looking around, you find a door leading down into the basement. Are you going down?
I am absolutely going to.
Maddie, don't do it. We need to call this in right now.
Yeah, we're going to take a second. We're going to call everybody and let them know that we have definitely found our killer.
Okay, so you've found the killer, but I want to stress, you hear nothing. You are not sure if Jess is here. Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to, with my weapon drawn, open the door to the basement. And I'm going to use intuition and notice and see if I hear anything.
Nothing. You can turn the light on. The light turns on. You hear nothing down there. Are you going down?
I think we need to go down.
Yes, I agree. Let's go.
Yeah,
All right.
we're going down.
You head down, and it's like this man's secondary kitchen. There is a meat slicer with a foot on it. And the foot has already partially been sliced. There is a grinder that looks like it has been used for things that aren't ground beef. There's just more disgusting stuff. Clearly body parts, but no cement walls, no signs of struggle. Wherever he's killing them, it's not here. And it is at that moment that we are going to leave you two, and we are going to hop on over to Happy Sappy Studios. You guys get there? 8 minutes. What do you do?
Do they have? Let's just go in and see with investigator procedure, people person, and some cop talk to get our way in there and see if there's any evidence of crimes being committed here.
Okay, what are you looking for exactly? Because it's a whole studios. There's the cafeteria, there's a dressing room, there's where they film stuff, but there's also like warehouses and storage.
Stop really quickly at the cafeteria.
Okay.
See what's in.
So despite the fact that neither of you are actually police, by using cop talk and all those abilities, you make them think you're police. They let you in. You go to the cafeteria. What are you looking for?
Where they cook, what they store. I just want to see if there's any body parts.
So you're like talking to the kitchen staff. They do really few things here. They're not even really like a cafeteria. Stuff comes in and they basically heat it up and hand it over. So there's no like big crazy kitchens or anything like that. You know, they bring frozen chicken wings up and they put them in a fryer, you know?
If she's here, she's someplace that it'll be less obvious. We got to get back into Chang's dressing room.
Okay. So you know where the door was. You head there. They are filming at the moment, so no one is in the dressing room. What do you do?
I'm going to take a look around, take photographs, to see if there's anything I can glean from the area that I'm standing in.
Okay. So in the dressing room?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You go in the dressing room. You're taking photos. You're looking around. There is blood on the floor by Johnny's chair. It looks like the outline of a shoe.
Great. Can I determine the direction that those prints move in, and or scour the ground?
It's by a mirror, but it essentially looks like the wearer put on the shoes and then walked out towards the studios.
Walked out towards the studio. What do you think, Dr. Stone?
To give you guys a little bit of urgency, Jess, you are in the basement. You hear footsteps, someone looking for you. And guys, don't stop on my account. Keep going because there's 5 minutes left.
All right, let me move the mirror. I need to pull everything up off the ground in this room. I need to see what's here.
Okay. While you're doing that, Jess, what are you doing?
Losing my mind. Am I still hidden?
You are still hidden, but you still hear footsteps.
I think I want to stay hidden. I don't think I want to make myself known yet. I don't know. Maybe I do. Should I yell?
You can stay hidden if you want. That's up to you. JSL.
Where are they coming from? Are they coming from
JSL, you're basically ripping the room apart. And there's no hidden doors. I mean, there's a closet filled with some clothes, but there's no hidden doors or passages or anything. If Jess is somewhere, she's not here. Jess,
All right.
What did you want to?
Where am I hearing the footstep from? Are they in the room or are they coming from like above me?
They are in the room. They are still the footsteps of the assailant looking for you. What do you want to try?
I'm still gagged, aren't I?
I mean, you're free at this point. You could probably like brush it out of your mouth or something. What do you want to try?
Yeah, let's get this gag out and yeah.
And
Wait,
yeah,
my hands are free now too, right? Aren't they?
what?
Did my hands? Did I get my hands free? Or no?
They were still tied. They were still tied behind your back. But the chair was broken, so you were able to move.
Okay. So yeah, I want to get the gag out of my mouth and. Can I scream again and then use cover and like go for cover again?
You can definitely scream. I want you to roll cover right now. And JSL, I would like you to roll sense trouble.
Okay.
So go ahead, Jess.
5 plus 5.
Okay, yeah. You scream. You hear footsteps and some commotion heading in your direction. You are able to sort of slink back behind. You're not sure what the stuff is down here, but it's all very big, and you're small enough to slip behind some stuff. JSL, what did you roll?
6.
You hear a scream coming from what sounds like downstairs. What do you do?
Downstairs. Sounds like downstairs. I'm gonna make a scene. I need to know how to get downstairs here immediately. I'm gonna grab the first intern I see. Where's the basement?
Yeah. There's a couple different places. This is just down to like general storage. There's a whole bunch of crap down there, like sets and whatnot. So just yeah, that's the closest entrance.
Well, my friend's down there. I'm going there, and you can't stop me. So long, motherfuckers. And then, come on, Caitlin, we're going.
Yep.
You guys are just going down like this?
Yeah, I'm ready for it.
All right, you open the door. It is dark heading down. There is a light switch if you want to try to throw it.
Turn on the light.
Drop the lights.
Infiltration as much as that can help me at this point.
All right, you turn on the lights, and we're going to have to fast track this. You guys run downstairs. It is basically a huge basement area where a bunch of old sets are kept. The walls are cement, just in case that was a fact that mattered. And you guys are not alone in this basement. There is some screaming, and there is a guy. You have not seen this guy before, but it looked like he was wearing something, and you have dazed him by turning the lights on. Classic Silence of the Lambs move. What do you guys do? You cannot see Jess. Jess, you do hear people rush into the room. We all know what's happening. You have 1 minute. I need to know what the action is that's happening here.
I'm getting up and running towards them.
Yeah. I'm literally going to take the gingerbread cookie I stole earlier, and I'm going to throw it at him.
I'm doomed.
Okay, Jess, you come out and you start running. Caitlin, you see Jess running for you. You take the cookie and you throw it, and it sort of hits a wall. And at this point, the killer runs. They are running away down some hallway. What do you guys do? Pursue or let him go?
Jess, she doesn't have her gun.
No, and her arms are broken.
Okay, any improvised weaponry?
There's something.
Sword, belt.
You could grab a piece of set. There's a giant fake lollipop. You could grab it.
I have grabbed a giant fake lollipop, and I am running after the killer.
Be untying me during this?
This is going to make me so famous.
That's really up to
so
her.
famous.
I'm untying Jess, and we are looking around frantically.
Okay.
My morale, and we are finding anything pointier than the lollipop.
JSL, you're too busy with the lollipop. I just want you to give me a roll. At this point, it's just up to fate.
I rolled a 5.
Holy crap. Okay. You are bolting down the hall. This person is going for it. They are super fast, but you are a reporter. You have chased down like runners and sports stars to get those paparazzi photos, and you've been chasing down stories all your life. And you get there, and you behind, and you swing, and you're not sure if you're going to reach because they're still pretty far away. but you swing and it just slips out of your hand, and the lollipop connects with the back of their head, breaking, and the person goes down. And it is at this moment that I am going to bring everybody back in and fast track a little bit of what happened. So there's probably going to be some issues when this goes to trial.
I'm alive.
Namely due to the fact that a large portion of the evidence you discovered, Maddie and Fletcher, was through an illegal search. However, the evidence itself is pretty damning. It seems that the owner of Patty's Pastries, Daniel Essex, which, fun fact, is an anagram for a specific phrase you guys found earlier. Anyway, it appears that he was, in fact, killing people, baking them into his pastries, and then feeding them to the children at Happy Sappy Studios. Seemed like he really got off on it. And all signs point to he was in the process of framing Mr. Sweet himself, just in case anything went wrong. So there you have it. I guess ultimately, and just for every person, Maddie, you unfortunately did get reprimanded for your reckless actions taken at the house, and you were suspended without pay for some time. Dr. Fletcher, no one did anything to you. You're just a psychotherapist, but you're definitely going to have a reputation at this point. Okay. Jess, you were taken to the hospital. You're still in casts. Dr. Stone, you have an awesome new story, but not nearly as good as the one that JSL is going to write. And the best part is that people are happy. The town is happy that you stuck the gingerbread man, but they're not the only person that is happy. For you see, a letter was sent to Jack Crawford from Hannibal Lecter, who wanted to congratulate all of you.
You're muted. You're muted.
You're muted.
My apologies. Congratulations on your little victory. You've done a fine job indeed. Your astute observations and adherence to my clues did you well this time. I do hope you enjoy your moment in the spotlight. And aged Dominic, I'm so happy to see you're still among us. I do hope you're recovering from your nasty little endeavor and won't be too ugly. I am wont to forget you, and do hope to see you again soon. Ta for now.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank all of you who joined us.
Yeah.
I think this was an absolute ride. I want to give so much thanks to my director for the evening, Christina, who is doing all of the behind-the-scenes stuff. I want to give thanks to all our players, Criminal Profiler Maddie, Dr. Caitlin Stone, Jess, you made it. You made it, Jess. Still a survivor. JSL, you are the best reporter I've ever met in my life. Dr. Fletcher, you are making me anxious. So please, guys, give them lots of love. Go check out their stuff. And a big thank you to our Hannibal Lecter, Mike McSullah, who stepped in and added a little bit of extra fun to all of this. And at that, folks, Dark Hills events, check us out. However, we are going out on one final thing. We are going to go ahead and post a poll on our Facebook page. What game do you want us to build for spooky season? And you know what? Just throw stuff down in the comments, because the 4 choices that we have, all these choices were sent in by audience members. Our 4 choices are: would you like us to build a Hocus Pocus RPG, a 13 Ghosts RPG, a Nightmare on Elm Street / Dream Warriors RPG, or a Ready or Not RPG? throw it down in the comments. Don't care if you're on Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube. We'll have the poll up on our page as soon as possible. Thank you all, and good night.